Two storied teams with glorious pasts are popular candidates on the BCS ballot. Running on their records with a campaign style in a battleground state. For the Sooners, there is no margin of error. Another loss in the primaries, and their run is done. And the unbeaten Irish must keep winning to stay near the top of the polls. The computer does the counting when all the results are in, but the only numbers that count tonight are on the scoreboard. It's Notre Dame and Oklahoma on Saturday Night Football.
Welcome to Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows 8. You are looking live at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. Notre Dame, Oklahoma, one of the more anticipated games of this season. The Irish storm in undefeated with the #1 defense in the land. The Sooners determined to end that streak before a sellout crowd that is bursting with energy. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger along with Kirk Herbstreit. What a night we've got here for you. And already fireworks. The #2 team in the nation. Florida's lost. And here are the Irish poised at #5.
They're coming into this game at 7-0. Their fan base, I don't think they've been this excited in over a decade. And they knew coming in that this was an important game. But I'll tell you what, not just with Florida losing, but with USC losing and the way they looked, I think the stakes have gone up that much higher for Notre Dame and what's at stake for them in this game. And all of a sudden, even for Oklahoma sitting there with one loss, they have a chance to work themselves back in it as well.
Herbie, let's talk about the Notre Dame quarterback, Everett Golson. He has been cleared to play coming off that concussion. He missed last week's game.
Yeah, it's important that Everett Golson's back in the lineup. And I know he's a redshirt freshman. And let's face it, they've had 8 turnovers on the year. He's been responsible for 7 of them. But his athletic ability is crucial tonight. I think it's going to be hard for Notre Dame to line up at their own 20 and drive 80 yards in 12 plays. Everett Golson's big playability, his ability to get away from trouble, buy time, find receivers downfield, will have to be on display for Notre Dame to be able to put points up on the board.
And, of course, it seems to you and me like Landry Jones has been the quarterback at Oklahoma for a half dozen years, but he's got great experience and a lot of weapons here tonight.
And I think for Oklahoma, they feel that they're really starting to peak at the right time. The last 3 weeks, I think they found a groove. The offensive line's playing better up front. The receivers around him are doing a much better job. I think it's allowed him to be able to just settle down and do what he needs to do, provide the leadership and make big plays. I'll tell you, the matchup is going to be Notre Dame's front 7. We've been bragging about them all year, about how great they are. They've got to get pressure on Landry Jones and try to create some turnovers to give the ball back to Everett Golson with a short field.
So many things have happened today. Kansas State may be jumping to #2 tomorrow. We'll wait and see. We'll have all those stories in an interview with Brian Kelly as we continue from Norman. Beautiful night for college football. The Irish, unfortunately, are going to be a little short-handed at the running back position tonight. Now, Heather Cox is down with Notre Dame coach Brian Kelly, so let's go to Heather now.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach George Atkinson didn't make the trip home in South Bend sick. Who returns kicks for you, and how does that affect your running back rotation?
Well, Cam McDaniel is very, very capable back. We like him a lot. We just haven't had a lot of touches, so he'll step in, next man in tonight.
And Coach, what's your advice been to your freshman quarterback, Everett Golson, in a game of this magnitude in an environment like this?
Go be a conductor. You know, he's got a lot of art in him, doesn't have as much science. I said, go put it together tonight and go have fun.
Impressive, Coach. Thank you.
And on the other side, Bob Stoops, 14-1 against ranked teams here at home. Notre Dame won the coin toss, and they have deferred. So Stoops And the Sooners will get the ball to start the game.
Let's go, number one. Here we go, Oklahoma. Let's go.
Roy Finch and Brennan Clay are back deep as we get ready to get started. There's Everett Golson over on the sideline. Monte Teo, their outstanding inside linebacker, ready to go to work against this high-powered OU offense. Will they still be undefeated when it ends? We're about to find out. From 2 yards deep, Clay decides to come out. Right return. And he is well short of what would have been a 25-yard line spot if he'd have taken a knee in the end zone. So here we come now. Landry Jones, the senior from Artesia High School in New Mexico.
Brent, what you talked about in the open, he's been around quite a few years and done a good job. Fans have been a bit critical of him at times. He had some turnover problems last year, but as we said, the last 3 weeks really has settled down, completing 62% of his passes, and this is the matchup everybody wanted to see. Landry Jones in this offense against Manti Te'o and the Notre Dame front seven.
Manti will be looking at a pretty good running back across the way, Damian Williams, out of Arizona Western, a junior college, stays into block, and on first down, an 11-yard gain. So Landry Jones completes the first pass of the game to Jalen Saunders, who was wearing 14 until tonight. Now he'll be number 18. And they go hurry up.
Here comes the tempo. Notre Dame's prepared for it all week. Let's see how they do.
Jones from that pocket stands tall, stills to the 30-yard line. So he's 2 for 2. And the big test of this game, Herbie, I think you'll agree with me, is that young Irish secondary is going to be under fire here.
Unlike they've been all year. They need to get pressure to be able to slow down this offense.
Comes back to Saunders. Saunders slips free. Another first down comes across the 40-yard line. And Te'o makes his first stop. And they quickly run back without a huddle to keep this tempo offense going.
Oklahoma wanted to spread Notre Dame's defense out, see how they played in space.
Now throwing that flanker screen, using Saunders for his third reception, brought down just short of the 50 by Spond of the Irish.
Not real fancy. Landry Jones is getting the ball and just putting it outside. We knew that this was going to happen. Notre Dame's going to have to try to make some adjustments, tighten up the coverage on the outside. The pressure can't get to him when he's getting rid of the ball this quickly. They're going to be forced to tighten up the coverage on the outside, something they don't want to do.
Now a little bit slower coming in with the play this time. So the Irish defense has a chance to get set. And it is second down and 3. And Kelly wants to substitute. You could see him talking to one of the officials about what's going on over there with this up-tempo offense. And they hand it off now to Millard. And Millard, the fullback, picks up another Sooner first down. So they're keeping the Irish defense on the field. Now quickly a substitution comes in for Notre Dame, but that's a big issue when you're against an up-tempo offense.
Not to mention, Brent, this is a boundary corner and a field corner defense. Today they're having to play left and right because of this tempo. They don't have time to flip-flop.
Checking over to the sideline, Josh Heupel. Upstairs, the offensive coordinator, was the one-time quarterback here for Bob Stoops, won a national championship back in 2000. Jones has got it set, tells his offensive line, and the Irish put 3 down on that defensive line. Bad snap, comes free. The quarterback was not ready, and it is recovered all the way back on the 35-yard line. Damian Williams saves it. Now look at him go at it as the center, Eichert, just simply snapped the ball without him there.
When you mix up your tempos like this and you're not on the same page, you don't see this from a couple of veterans like Eichert and Jones, but this time they're so used to going tempo, tempo, tempo that the last couple plays they've slowed things down, and I think they even fooled themselves. It backfired there with a snap by Eichert.
And Herbie, it's a big 19-yard loss, and that makes it second down and 29 now. The Irish still can't lay a hand on number 12, but he comes up short And you wonder if he's not a little bit rattled about what just happened on that last play. That was a very bad play right there again.
Yeah, and you can see Nick's getting a pretty good push there on Bronson Irwin, the right guard, just enough to be able to affect Landry Jones. But this is going to be one of those games, especially early, where mistakes like this can cost you momentum. It can cost you the drive. Bob Stoops in this offense, they came out, guns blazing. They were moving the ball. No huddle, push with tempo, and then a setback like that. Now they're facing a 3rd and 29.
And you can see how the Irish set that pass defense with only 3 down up front. Trying to get to Jones, who's got plenty of time. They're going to play pass defense. And I believe that was incomplete. It was to Millard over there on the side. And I believe they're going to wave that one off and bring it back. And here comes the punting team now. Here comes Tressway, who's a good punter. But that was a shaky ending to a promising first drive.
The ball touches the ground. Round 1. Give an advantage there to Notre Dame, and they will take the assist there from the center, Gabe Eichert, for that poor snap.
Here's Devontae Neal, the freshman, back deep for the Irish, standing on their own 23-yard line. They're about to get it, and they've got to feel very, very good about how this drive wound up. Fair catch is signaled for at the 21-yard line. So this turned this drive completely around. Eichert, one of the better. Now it is Everett Golson's turn. Sophomore from Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. Theo Riddick is the running back, and that's T.J. Jones in motion. Riddick, and Washington jumps on him. Number 11, who drew a start in this game at that linebacking spot, comes up, and Everett Golson is a young man we'll be watching all night here, Irby.
He's got to be able to make some plays. It's going to be tough sledding in the running game, especially early with the emotion of this stadium. The defense is fired up to be able to line up and push this Notre Dame offensive line back. Golson's ability to throw, make good decisions, and protect the football, especially early here, key.
Sear Wood is in. Tyler Eifert is a great tight end. Wood, nothing doing on the outside, and it's going to be 3rd and long. Colvin makes the stop. And let's take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Avis.
Boy, Theo Riddick last week had a huge game. His best game as a running back in his career. A hybrid guy that looked to match him up one-on-one. Tyler Eifert, another guy with his size at 6'6". They got to get able to match him up. And on the other side, Stephen Tuitt's doing a really good job on the defensive line. And of course, Manti Te'o. Those 2 defenders will be key, getting pressure on Landry Jones.
4 wide receivers. Golson will go back in the gun. Want to keep an eye on number 80, and certainly Oklahoma will be watching where he lines up. Golson under pressure, runs away from it now for the first time. Can he get to the first down marker? It's big, and he reaches for it. Let's see where they spot it. Just short, it appears to us, regarding that yellow line. Hurst was able to get him out of bounds, and it is close on the near side.
And Brent, early here on 3rd down, you can see in this game that Oklahoma's going to try to spy on these 3rd downs. Harris is right here, the safety. See 30? He's trying to spy to make a play. The problem is he stopped moving forward. His feet stopped, and it allowed Golson to get around him, but it still looks like he's short of the first down.
So the Irish punter, Ben Turk, comes out onto the field. Justin Brown, the transfer from Penn State, eligible to play right away when he left Penn State. Back, fair catch at about the 18-yard line, and that will be where Oklahoma will have it for their 2nd series. Most importantly, it was 3 and out for the Irish offense. Professor Stuart Asprey and sophomore Dayton Clark are nice enough to carve some pumpkins for ESPN over at the ceramics facility here at Oklahoma. And now Landry Jones and the OU offense back to work. Play action, they're going to keep it in the air. First down, and this is Justin Brown's first reception, the young man who fielded that punt.
And again, Notre Dame just trying to keep everything in front of them, and Landry Jones being forced to throw the ball underneath. He'll take that every single time. That time you see Jackson sitting back.
Not getting any pressure. Stills forced out of bounds, and if you haven't seen Kenny Stills, number 4, he is one of the better wide receivers in the game. And with the development of the slot receivers here, they were telling Irby and me, they're able to get him outside in his natural position. Breakaway speed, 2nd and 2, coming quickly again. And here comes Damian Williams, swings on the outside. not going to get the first down. Could not get outside. Tuitt was over there doing a fine job, number 7, and did not let him get the first down.
Bob Diaco that time changing up his coverage on 2nd down, taking a bit of a gamble. He changed, instead of having the too high safety look, he brought down Zeke Mata, trying to take a little bit of a risk, assuming they might run the football. There he is off to the left. It's the right time to call it, setting up this 3rd down.
Herbie, he's got to be a little bit concerned. They're just not getting any penetration for that defensive front. The offensive line of Oklahoma has given Landry Jones all kinds of time so far. Now let's see what happens on 3rd and 2 with 4 down. He stands right there in the pocket and throws. I mean, that's going to be very easy for him to pick apart this defense. Goes back to Saunders that time for the 1st and 10.
Yep.
They're just not laying a hand on it.
And he's been getting the ball out fast. This time they actually brought a blitz. 41 Farley, the safety, came on a pressure. Oklahoma just picked it up and it forced one-on-one matchup on the back end. And when you give a quarterback like Landry Jones with his experience time to throw in a one-on-one matchup with these receivers, he's going to win it every time.
Lane Johnson, the left tackle, was once a quarterback in junior college. So Johnson helping anchor this line, and you can see the time they're giving Landry all day long. Just nothing happening. Using his running back, Williams slipping out of the backfield that time. He'll throw for 300 yards if they don't get to him, folks.
Brett, watch the receiver going here towards the sideline, but downfield. It's actually going to pull the defense with him, and then they slipped it back out, and I think it fooled this linebacker there. He's completely out of position, wasn't expecting the back to slide out. It's the first time they've given him that look, and they hit it for a big one.
Darrell Williams is the right tackle. Irwin and Sheed are the guards. Come back with Williams, and that time struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage as we take a look at tonight's UPS efficiency update here with Oklahoma reaching the red zone, and that's a big statistic as far as the Irish are concerned. They've allowed a touchdown on 21% of red zone possessions. That's the fewest in the FBS.
Oklahoma's outstanding in the red zone, although we just saw Damian Williams hobble off there.
And Brennan Clay, Herbie, checks in to replace him here on 2nd and 11. Trying to get pressure again with the blitz, but they couldn't get there, and it is complete to Saunders. And Landry Jones is just picking this defense apart because of the time he's getting.
And this time again, Bob Diaco's changing it up. This time Dan Fox is going to come on the blitz. The middle linebacker coming right through the middle. But Clay, who just came into the game, picks it up perfectly. You can see when Landry Jones has time to set his feet and make a throw, he's going to nail you, and especially when you're sitting back in soft coverage.
He's 9 of 11. For 110 yards already in this game. 3rd down and 3. Doesn't even keep a protector next. That one's deflected and almost caught after it was ricocheted. Stills had a crack at it, but it was deflected that time. And Nix was in the middle of things there, I think, for the Irish.
Yeah, he did. He actually got his hand and knocked that down. 6'3", 326 pounds, kind of an enforcer. And, you know, this Notre Dame defense, we keep talking about the soft coverage, bend but don't break, but this time they step up and make the play in the red zone the way they have most of the year and force his field goal.
So here comes the field goal attempt by Michael Honeycutt. It'll be 28 yards. The Sooners lead 3-0. But if you're a Notre Damer, you've got to be pleased. Oklahoma has driven twice and had to settle for 1 field goal.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Well, NASCAR's chase hits the home stretch. Brad Keselowski leads the way. Trophy up for grabs. 4 races left. The NASCAR chase for the Sprint Cup at Martinsville tomorrow at 1 on ESPN.
You made a great point about Notre Dame fans having to be happy with those first 2 drives and the way things went and the way this game could look right now. Being down 3-0, big part of them on the road like this, just settling down, weather the storm early, and then start to try to go out and execute with their offense. But the defense is doing their job.
Now here's where George Atkinson will be missed. Cam McDaniel, wearing number 21, is back deep. He'll replace the fastest man on the Notre Dame roster, George Atkinson. And Oklahoma wants him coming out from the 15-yard line. And the young man's got a bit of a crease, and he got out to the 33. So that'll settle him down. And now let's talk about Everett Colson, because this was the young man being injured and suffering a concussion against Stanford. This is the reason why he did not play against BYU.
Yeah, he takes a big hit, and it was one of those hits where you just knew it might have some long-term effects. He missed the game last week against BYU. His comeback, the coaches said he passed his test early in the week and has had a great week of preparation to get him ready for tonight.
Riddick back in as the Irish running back. Gets the call behind the right side and picks up 4 or 5 yards before King can wrestle him down.
Runs like that you will take all night for Notre Dame. This is a physical Oklahoma front four. I mean, usually you come into Norman and you see some defensive ends that are about 240 pounds and run a 4.5. That's not the case this year. I mean, you have guys that are 275 pounds, 280 pounds across the entire front, not just the interior. So when you can pick up 4 or 5 yards on a run, take some of the pressure off of Everett Golson. That's big.
Tom Wart's the middle linebacker. Sierra Wood gets the carry, and right up the middle, breaks free. He's headed for the end zone. No one will catch him. The Irish with the game's first touchdown. Sierra Wood goes 62 yards, and Notre Dame leads.
That is a huge play by Notre Dame on the road early in the game. A poor fit by the Oklahoma defense. It opened it up, and these backs have really been gaining a lot of momentum these last few weeks with Theo Riddick and Sierra Wood, and that time Wood found a crease and took it all the way to the house.
Kyle Brinza in to attempt the extra point. The Irish punter, Ben Turk, will put it down at the 10-yard line. Notre Dame 7, Oklahoma 3. A career-long run for Sierra Wood, 62 yards for the first touchdown here tonight. Finch and Clay back deep for the Sooners. Take a knee and it'll come out to the 25. Herbert, let's go back to that touchdown.
You're going to see a receiver from the top make a big block here, but the thing that really stands out to me is we talk about Tyler Eifert as a receiver and what he can do as a receiver. Watch the job at the bottom here. He takes on Julian Wilson and Tony Jefferson, who makes most of the tackles for Oklahoma. He occupies both of them, so they couldn't be able to get there from the backside. See how he locks up the safety? Tony Jefferson, he may have got away with a little bit of a hole, but Tony Jefferson leads this Oklahoma defense in tackles. Brian Kelly told me on the field before the game, his biggest concern was how to occupy Jefferson. So a nice job up front there by Eifert, and also Mike Golick Jr. with a huge block to open that up as well.
Damian Williams checks back in to the lineup. Motions out, and Oklahoma keeps the ball in the air, picking up 7 yards. Teo making the stop on the receiver. And now Oklahoma has called 4 running plays and 13 pass plays of their first 17 plays of this game. We know their game plan now. Slips it outside to the screen to Saunders, and he picks up the first down.
Well, the game plan coming in was to get this physical Notre Dame defense out in space. Now, Bob Diaco's given up some yards. He's already given up 123 yards in the first quarter through the air. So it's more of a bend but don't break mentality for Notre Dame's defense.
OU trying to pick that tempo back up, far side, incomplete, and it'll be second down and 10. Brown, the intended target that time. Russell with coverage for the Irish.
Russell did a good job of baiting the throw there from Jones, acting like he was going to take the receiver up close to the line of scrimmage, and just before Jones made his decision, he sank back out on Justin Brown, the transfer from Penn State.
Ball on the OU 39-yard line. Draw play. Williams to the 41-yard line, and Teo makes another stop.
Manti Teo, this is what he can do. Brent, you said all these plays from Oklahoma, you have 20 plays and 15 of them have been a pass. So Teo instinctively is thinking of sitting back and defending the pass. That time he got in on the run as well.
On third down, Landry Jones throws incomplete. Oklahoma is forced to punt it away, and that was an outstanding defensive series for Notre Dame.
Again, this defense, I think, started to get comfortable on what they want to do. This time they got in a little bit late. Oklahoma tried to catch them napping. Landry Jones, I think that time, got a little bit happy feet and moved out of that pocket maybe before he needed to. But anyway, nobody was open downfield. Good coverage by Notre Dame secondary.
A penalty flag. Fair catch is signaled by Neal at the 19-yard line, but there is a penalty flag back by the line of scrimmage.
Legal formation on the kicking team, number 42, 5 players in the backfield. A 5-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the kick. First down.
You see that Jerry McGinnis from the Big East. When Bob Stoops and Oklahoma go to South Bend next year, it will be a Big 12 officiating crew. Upstairs in the replay booth, even tonight it'll be Big 12, and of course when they get to Notre Dame, it'll be the Big East officials handling the replay. So here we go. The ball is brought out now to the 24-yard line for Everett Golson, and the Irish coming off that big touchdown run by Sierra Wood.
That was not just a huge play to get points on the board, but when you're on the road and you got a young quarterback, that's the kind of play that can really help you settle into a game and allow you to maybe open some things up eventually for Everett Golson in the passing game.
Riddick back in as the running back. Play action to him. Golson looking downfield. Got a man on the left side. Incomplete, and it'll be second down and 10. Firing deep to Chris Brown, number 2.
And Everett Golson has a strong arm, a very strong arm. He has no problem throwing this ball downfield. Tony Jefferson, because they're doubling Eifert, he's occupied, and he gets the one-on-one matchup there on the outside and almost hits a big one. He attacked the best cover corner from Oklahoma, and he almost hit it.
Now Sierra Wood checks back in as they continue to rotate running backs. 3 receivers to the right side for Golson. Runs Sierra on a sweep left, and nothing doing that time as worked the linebacker all over him. And for an update, let's go to Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Brent, Taco Bell studio update. Right now on ESPN, Ohio State is leading Penn State. Braxton Miller to Jake Stoneburner, 72 yards. These two teams were atop the leaders division of the Big Ten, but neither are eligible for postseason play.
Yeah, Robert, and of course Braxton Miller working his way into the Heisman Trophy conversation. Colin Klein with another huge game for Kansas State. They figure to jump to number 2 in the BCS rankings. Notre Dame number 5 right now, leading with a 3rd and 10. And Golson comes in underneath, short of the first down. TJ Jones could not get there, and that was Hurst, I believe, who did a fine job in that secondary for the Sooners.
Oklahoma is literally putting 2 defenders on number 80. I circled him there, Tyler Eifert, every single snap. And they're trying to take him away from this quarterback, and a little bit of a comfort level with Eifert. He does a good job of coming off of him and gets it out to Landry Jones. As long as he's avoiding mistakes, that's a good series for Notre Dame.
Ben Turk and Justin Brown, the return man, fair catch at the 32-yard line. So we want to remind you, I've mentioned the BCS, and that's going to change tomorrow with Florida having lost today. They'll start that show on ESPN tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then it'll go over to ESPNU at 9 p.m. BCS countdown, shake up in the top 5 for sure, Herbie.
No doubt. Florida goes down, and Kansas State, I really looked at them last week as probably the second best team because of what they had accomplished. They should settle in up there at number 2 now and see what happens in Notre Dame. Big changes are going to be coming in the next few weeks in the top 5 of the BCS standings. We know that.
Brennan Clay in the backfield. Millard is the running back, and not a whole lot doing on that play. Shembo was among the defenders that time who jumped in along with Teo. So Manti Teo. And speaking of Heisman Trophy conversation, Herbie, isn't it fun to have a defensive player being mentioned with all the offensive stars?
He's been the most consistent defensive player this year on a high-profile team. And I think Oklahoma cannot abandon their running game. As much as they want to try to get Notre Dame out in space, they've got to be able to run the ball as well.
Second, and they come back with Clay, and he is smacked pretty good by that tough Irish front. And Herbie, I think you made a great point that after a couple of series, Diaco's defensive players are kind of settling in right now.
I think they are, and I think we're starting to see strategies from both sides. And Bob Diaco's strategy is, hey, we're going to give you some yards underneath. We're okay with that. We're confident in our red zone defense. It's one of the best in the country. We just don't want to give up the home run, the big play behind us. So they're giving up yards, but they're squeezing Oklahoma when it matters.
3rd down and 3. Rush 3, OU offensive line does a great job. Fires first down into the middle of the field that time. And Justin Brown was camped in there.
Show you the athletic ability of Landry Jones. Brent, watch the snap. Slow, comes off from his left, comes back to his right. He looked maybe at his 3rd or 4th option there on the backside to make that throw.
And that was Saunders. Let me check myself. I thought that was Brown coming across, but it was Saunders. So it is 1st down and 10. They come across midfield. Jones eyes that defense. He's just keeping it in the air. And that one was almost picked off that time. Mata, the safety, had dropped back, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, I think he underestimated the corner play, but watch Mata. Oklahoma's been throwing underneath so much that Mata almost got there as well. You can see 17 almost gets to it, but it's the break on the ball actually by Bennett Jackson. The ball went through his hands, but Notre Dame's starting to feel that Landry Jones wants to just get the ball out to the flat quickly, and that time Mata and Jackson almost made a play on it.
Jones with 12 completions, and Saunders has 8 of them. And here comes Millard, the fullback. Teo up over the top. How do you do? Here comes number 5.
But he comes off of this block, and watch the speed that he has to be able to get to the outside. Irwin tries to block him, and this is the difference right there in what we've seen from Manti Teo the last couple years and what we're seeing this year. The quickness and the ability to get away from blocks and make plays to the outside because he's lost 15 pounds, much quicker.
Checking back over the sideline. 3rd down and 7. OU has to get across the 40-yard line for a 1st down. Trying to get pressure, and they make him drop it down to Clay. Teo was the defender on the running back as a receiver. That was extremely well defended, and the Irish were pressing that pocket that time.
Stephon Tuitt, who has been the best pass rusher for Notre Dame all year, watch him get right by Irwin. They also bring the linebacker Dan Fox, mixing up the looks and trying to confuse not just Landry Jones, but the Oklahoma offensive line and try to get them back more on their heels and getting them thinking a little bit too much. Great job again by Diaco and this defense.
Battle of field position. Trustway will try to bury Notre Dame inside the 20-yard line. Fair catch at the 12-yard line. So it'll be tough sledding here for Golson and the Irish offense coming out. And a reminder, NFL Countdown 10 a.m. on ESPN. The gang will be on hand. They'll run down all the big games that are about to unfold tomorrow. How about the Green Bay Packers? Are they back being one of the Super Bowl favorites in your fantasy football update? And that'll be Robert Flores will be there, our buddy, with Matthew Berry and Tim Hasselbeck. Who do you start and who do you bench tomorrow? So that's tomorrow. That'll be at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. So here comes Golson now in the Irish.
We got a 27 plays to 8, and Notre Dame's up 7-3 on the road here in the first quarter.
Riddick, the running back. The one big play, Sierra Woods' 62-yard touchdown run. Golson play action on 1st down, rolls out to the right, and a beautiful throw to Jones. Jones still going to the 30-yard line, and that's what Golson can do, you that athletic ability.
And I love the call on 1st and 10. He's going to get the defense to flow. This is an aggressive defense. On 1st and 10, they're expecting run. All the tendencies in this Notre Dame offense show that they're going to run the football. And Brent, you're exactly right. That's why I've been talking about this with Everett Golson. The reason he is in the lineup is he gives you this element, the bootleg away from the pressure, and he finds Jones on the backside. Good call there on 1st and 10.
So the final seconds will tick off here on the first quarter. Coach Kelly working with his young quarterback out on the sideline.
A little smile there from the head coach.
Indeed. And this presentation, why not? Saturday Night Football presented by Windows 8 will return after this message and a word from our ABC station. Presented by Windows 8. A night like this, the stars come out. One of the greatest basketball players in the NBA, right down the road, Oklahoma City, Kevin Durant of the Thunder. I hope you fans appreciate him. He is an outstanding young man. Toby Keith, long time Sooner fan. One of the biggest in the country. And a great country and western singer. Now 1st down and 10. We start the second quarter. Golson fakes the end around, still looking downfield, and he has to chuck it away out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down. And Herbie, we want to take a look now at our Pacific Live game summary from our first quarter.
Well, Oklahoma's put up some numbers, but they're just not putting points up on the board. You can see 135 yards through the air. Notre Dame had the big play. We talked about they need big plays. We thought it might be through the air with their quarterback creating, but of course they were able to do that by a big run there by Sierra Wood. But the time of possession dominated by Oklahoma.
Riddick back in as the running back. Gets the call. Not much doing, and he is pulled down. Gabe Lynn, one of those, number 9, is bringing him down there.
The goal for Brian Kelly is for Golson to not have to face too many 3rd and long situations. The last time we saw them in a 3rd and long was the 3rd play of the game, and Oklahoma actually spied with their safety, number 30, Javon Harris. Let's see what they do here on 3rd down. And what I've seen from Golson over this year, is he looks at his primary on 3rd down, and if he's not there, he's going to take off and try to make something happen with his legs.
Now, he'd sure like to find Tyler Eifert here, number 80, on this 3rd and 9. Sprints away, still throws, and a beautiful pitch, but they wave it out. Jones was out of bounds.
But they might want to take another look at this because it was simultaneous. As soon as he caught the ball, it looked like his left foot might have gotten down. I don't know if it's going to be enough for the first, but a good effort by Golson to make the throw. Watch the left foot. I thought it might have gotten down. Definitely worth another look there. Great effort. We talked about his athletic ability to try to keep a play alive. Boy, look.
The left foot was planted if he had possession, but they have not stopped it. So Ben Turk is back to punt it away. And Justin, so Brown signals for the fair catch at the 31-yard line. 7-3, Irish with an early lead. And when we come back, OU will have the football.
November 16th, 1957. Dick Lynch takes a pitch from Bob Williams as Nick Petrosani leads the way. Coach Terry Brennan's Fighting Irish score what proves to be the only touchdown of the game as the 3 touchdown underdogs shut out the Oklahoma Sooners.
So many great memories from that game. Bud Wilkinson's 47-game win streak comes to an end. Of course, Dick Lynch's touchdown for a long time. He was the radio voice of the New York Football Giants. And now Oklahoma wants to come in here and try to run the ball.
As long as the Aflac doesn't have anything to do with that game.
It does not.
I love those old films, though. My dad was a freshman in college that year.
Did you see Nick Petrosani's block, that fullback lead?
I love that stuff.
The old movie tone.
Yeah,
you know, you go down Saturday afternoon and watch them.
Yep.
So it's 2nd down and 6 now for Landry Jones and the Sooners. They trail it 7-3. Damian Williams, and tough going. The one thing that many of you Notre Dame fans realize, but some of you who are watching the Irish perhaps the first time this season don't, Notre Dame has not given up a rushing touchdown all season long. That's right, all season long. I remember this season started in Dublin against a pretty good running team, the United States Naval Academy. Third down for Landry Jones. Checks over to the sideline.
He sees linebacker blitz. They're going to try to bring pressure up the middle with whether it's Teo or Fox. They might both be coming here. Oklahoma's trying to adjust to get ready for it.
Teo's on the quarterback. Sacks him on the 25-yard line. The senior from Hawaii.
Just said it. You could see that there was going to be some pressure. Teo is right here. They tried to make an adjustment, but clearly the message not delivered. The right side there between Eichert to center and Bronson Irwin, the right guard. They didn't communicate well enough, and the one guy you always want to be aware of on third down is the big fella, Manti Te'o. Another big play by this Notre Dame defense.
And it forces another punt by Oklahoma. There's a penalty again. Second time we've had a penalty on a punt tonight. And Neal lets this one bounce out of bounds around the 22-yard line, but there is a penalty flag back by the line of scrimmage.
Legal formation on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the run.
That's the
First down.
second time.
That's
Same
second
call.
time here tonight.
Same call. That's why Bob Stoops is fired up. Brent, I really believe not just you and I, but I think everybody across the country watching this game, still a long way to go. I think people are gaining more and more respect for this Notre Dame defense.
I gained respect today when BYU went to Atlanta and beat up on Georgia Tech down there, and that's the team that the Irish stifled up in South Bend last week.
Well, they are off to a great start tonight. They gave up a few passing yards, but Bob Diaco sticking to his game plan. I'll tell you what, the point of attack is the difference with Notre Dame this year. Manti Te'o gets most of the recognition and credit, but when you watched him, and we'll continue to keep an eye on 7, Stephon Tuitt, 9, Lewis Nix. You have Caper Lewis Moore up front. Just a really good group of defensive linemen.
The Irish called the officials on this, and they're going to make them repunt this after this penalty. So they're going to back them up again. Tress Way. Neal's a freshman, and he let that one bound by him. Young man could have saved some yardage. All you got to do in that situation is make the catch. All of you football coaches out there, you're shaking your heads in agreement. You know what it can do to cost you in field position. A 60-yard punt. Possible. And that museum in Oklahoma City is worth a visit. That's where Tornado is buried. He was a 1,600-pound bull, folks. 220 cowboys tried to ride that bull. Many tried.
Nobody survived. Nobody was able to survive.
10 now. Irish, and it's Riddick getting the first call behind the right side. Herbie, we should mention now the offensive line here. Braxton Cave is a center for the Irish. Mike Goley, son of colleague of ours, and Chris Watt are the guards. Kristen Lombard and Zach Martin over there on the left. Now, Zach Martin has started, this is his 33rd consecutive game he started. He's one of the fine tackles in the country right now. Sierra Wood checks back in. He has a big play tonight. That 62-yard touchdown burst. Nothing much doing over there that time. Walker and Colvin all over it. Number 14 moving up there.
Mike Stoops bringing the corner blitz from the boundary. Aaron Colvin coming over here. He starts to cheat up. Receivers trying to point, let the quarterback know that it's coming, but he disguised that and waited until the last second before he brought the pressure. Good time to dial that up by Mike Stoops.
There is Mike, former head coach at Arizona. Before that, he was one of the defensive coordinators for his brother here at Oklahoma. He's a firebrand and an outstanding defensive coach. Third down and 8. Golson fires, first down. Beautiful. Deveris Daniels makes his first catch of the night. in traffic, and it was right on the money. You got to be impressed by this young man throwing right now.
Third down and long. He puts the ball right where Daniels can make a play on it. As soon as he turns around, the ball's in the air. This is another third down for the redshirt freshman quarterback, and he gives another freshman, Daniels, a chance to make the play. Not just the execution right now by Everett Golson, but he is right now making great decisions with that football.
Riddick checks in, and there is a penalty flag.
Eagle substitution. Defense. Too many players on the field. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So a head coach wants an explanation because he thought that Notre Dame was substituting on the other side. So he's not happy with that penalty against him. Mike Stoops, though, is having a little conversation with Wilson, the young man who was involved. And it is first down and 5 as a result of the penalty against the Sooners, and they've had 3 penalties against. And Golson rolling again, going to throw in underneath. Jones for a first down, out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Colvin giving pursuit. This young man at quarterback is starting to grow up.
Yep, and you see a little bit of motion. Watch Colvin, the corner, get caught up in traffic a little bit, but it's another first down play action, misdirection to get the defense flowing one way that gets Golson in his comfort zone where he's out on the perimeter being able to make a good throw, and he finds Jones once again for a first down.
And Sierra Wood now checks back in. Again, the Irish are without George Atkinson III. Back home in South Bend, didn't make the trip, suffering from the flu. But Wood and Riddick alternating. And here comes Sierra Wood with a fine step that time. And let us go to Robert Flores for SportsCenter right now.
That's right, Brent. It's presented by HP. Right now on ESPN, number 1 Alabama leading number 11 Mississippi State 7-0 in the fourth quarter. TJ Yeldon the touchdown run. Meantime on ESPN2, Nebraska on top of number 22 Michigan. Taylor Martinez to Kenny Bell. That one on ESPN2. Wolverines making their first trip to Lincoln since 1911.
And here it is a second down and 4 for Notre Dame. Golson starting to move the Irish through the air. He keeps it this time for a first down, crosses the 40 to the 35-yard line. Hurst with the stop.
I just love the play calling right now by Brian Kelly. It's multiple. It's a variety of different personnel groupings. There's motions. They're showing the quarterback has the ability to run. You worry about what Riddick might do, what Sierra might do. There's play action off of 1st and 10. Right now, Brian Kelly has this offense in a rhythm, and he's got his young redshirt freshman quarterback making good decisions and executing in a way that he had hoped coming into the ballgame.
So Riddick, who's also an outstanding receiver, back in the backfield. He's going to flare out this time. Golson rolling, looking for a target, throws it away, and it'll be second down and 10.
The knock on Golson has been this year, even from some of his own fans, is that should we play the redshirt freshman because he turns the ball over? Of their 8 turnovers, he has had 7 of them himself with fumbles and interceptions. That's part of being a redshirt freshman. The reason Brian Kelly sticks with him, not just the athletic ability, but he's going to continue to get better and better with each rep that he takes.
In the route. Riddick chucks it to Toma. And they only gained a couple yards. Ball comes out, recovered by the Irish if it was a fumble at the 30-yard line. And I believe it was. So Ndule knocks the ball out. Take a look at this and see if it was a fumble for sure, because the Irish pounce on it. That ball is caught out. That's a fumble, no question about it.
The knee touch. How about Ndule from behind, the effort there to be able to get to that football, and the alert lineman that time, Watt, picks it up, or Oklahoma could have had that ball back. It's another third down, though, here for Golson.
Third down and 5. He's been moving the pocket brilliantly to the outside. Remember, both of those outstanding defensive ends for Oklahoma moved on to the National Football League. And if you want to attack any part of the Stoops defense now, you want to get after those ends and see what they've got. Another thing to keep in mind about Oklahoma is that Stoops has already lost here in Norman, and I believe it's only the 4th time that he's ever lost as head coach here in Norman. Kansas State came in here one, and he has never lost, Herbie, 2 games in Norman, Oklahoma in one season.
It's a long way to go, but I am really impressed with Notre Dame on the road in this environment with their defense and with their quarterback. This thing could change like that. But, it's going to be tough to be able to beat Oklahoma. It always is to come in here against Bob Stoops. But the defensive front 7 is playing at a level that they have been all year. But people wanted to see how would they do against Oklahoma and Landry Jones. So far, they're passing that grade. And the quarterback has just been sensational. Not only that, they've run for 100 yards. It's one way to take pressure off of a young quarterback when you have a balanced attack. And they've been able to do that here the last couple series.
We'll see what they come up with here against this OU team. And Bob Stoops knows that fellas are back on their heels here a little bit. It is 3rd down and 5. Big play for the OU defense. Golson's got time, fires, got the 1st down. Toma reaches for it. Robbie Toma, he's also out of Hawaii.
Brent, on 3rd down against man coverage, the crossers are a great call to try to attack it. You see the crossers all over the field. He ends up picking Toma, who's up against the nickelback Gabe Lynn. He got separation and made it an easy throw, an easy read that time for Everett Golson.
Ball is on the Sooners' 25-yard line.
Quarterbacks will tell you, especially when you're young and the game's moving fast, you'd rather see a ton of man coverage than a lot of zone coverage. And right now, Oklahoma's playing a lot of man.
Golson firing far side, incomplete, too high for Jones. Couldn't get up there, and Hurst. Looks like he ran into something over there on the far side. I hope he's okay. Hurst, the defensive back for the Sooners, their cornerback. The medical staff is now coming quickly across the field. And we'll take a look at this. The young man is grabbing at his left leg.
Trying to slow up there. It's caught up with T.J. Jones and the cart
seems to be sliding. You know, there's not a lot of room behind in the sidelines here at this stadium. We notice that they're quite narrow before you get over to the edge of the stadium. And when you have equipment down there, it can be difficult sometimes. So Hurst is down, and we'll step aside, and then we will quickly get a report on the young man's condition. And while you were away, Demontre Hurst walked off the field on his own power. Seems to be all right. Came to the sideline. Has his helmet back on. So we fully expect Heather Cox telling us from down below that he's okay. 2nd down and 10 with empty backfield. Golson takes off straight ahead, and he's a couple yards short of the 1st down. Colvin, who's been very active here for the defense, makes another stop. He's one of the starting corners.
When Riddick goes out, man coverage, it's going to take the linebacker with him. And now you got your numbers that you want. With a mobile quarterback, you empty that backfield, and you're playing man coverage. There's nobody left in the middle.
3rd down and 2. The Irish are going to throw from 3rd and 2. Golson can't find anybody. He's going to have to hurry. Incomplete, and it'll be 4th down and 2. And let's see if Coach Kelly sends the field goal unit right onto the field, and he does exactly that. Here comes Kyle Prinza.
Brent, this is inexperience from the quarterback. This is something that he'll look at eventually and be able to learn from. Watch Daniels from the left moving to the middle, right there. Look at this, right in the middle. There's nobody there for this defense, and the quarterback that time, and I know he got some pressure, but before he got the pressure, Daniels was able to break free. He just didn't see him, or that would have been maybe not just a 1st down, but a touchdown.
Brinza. 34-yard field goal attempt, and it's good. And Notre Dame leads 10-3. And we cue Herbie's favorite duck. All right, Herbie, who was the last linebacker to finish in the top 5 of the Heisman Trophy voting? We've been talking about Teo here tonight. Last line, give it a little thought.
I will.
Okay, it requires a little thought. All right, there is Teo over on the sideline, and he's number 2 in the ESPN Heismantology poll.
That is a great question.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Some of our folks down Florida way got it right away. Okay, here we go now.
That's a good one. Okay.
Ball on the tee. Back deep, Finch and Clay for the Sooners. They trail it by a touchdown. Fielded on the 6 by Clay. And he's thrown back at the 20-yard line. And speaking of Teo and that Irish
this Notre Dame defense has dialed up some pressures at the right time where they're trying to get after Landry Jones. This time we saw Dan Fox get in there. Didn't come up with a sack, but between he and Tuitt, they affected Jones and made him throw the ball early. Here, this is after Oklahoma adjusted their pass protection. They sensed that Teo was coming, and they didn't do a good enough job with Eichert and Irwin. Teo got in free. Through the first part of this game, the Notre Dame front 7 is winning the battle in the trenches. Here comes a 3-back look from Oklahoma. We haven't seen this yet tonight.
Millard positions himself over, and they'll run power with Williams toward that side for a couple of yards. So the Notre Dame defense, we have talked about the fact they have a lot of rushing touchdowns this year, but that is not all. Take a look at that. Points per game, total yards, offensive TDs, red zone TD percentage. It's just a very, very good defense.
And the bottom one to me is really impressive. When teams are struggling to get touchdowns, when they get into the red zone, and you do well on 3rd down, you're typically going to have a good defense, and that's what Notre Dame's done this year.
Jones will go back up on top, right into the middle, and that's complete to Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard is such a wonderful story.
Well, this time he finds a hole right behind the linebackers, and Notre Dame has 2 safeties. You can see him bailing there. One of them moves towards the middle, but Oklahoma coaches felt that an area they wanted to try to attack was behind the aggressive Teo and the linebackers and in front of the safeties. That's the first time we've seen them be able to get that one in there to Shepard, the freshman.
First down and 10. Williams on the running play, and nothing doing against that front. Calabrese leading the way for the Irish.
Defensive tackles are so valuable to teams in the SEC. Well, Notre Dame has them, and Lewis Nix, again, he's not talked about enough, but right now he is giving Gabe Eichert all he can handle up front in the middle.
Second down and 9. Puts it in Still's hands for the first down. The corner Russell was off him, and
good play here. They finally get the ball to Stills. Brent, I want to come back to what we were talking about earlier there with Shepard, but Kenny Stills is a physical back, and because of guys like Shepard and Saunders coming up, it's allowed them to move him back to the outside where his more natural position is. Very physical at 6'1", 190 pounds.
So his father, Shepard, of course, played here and was a graduate assistant under Stoops, became an assistant coach at Wyoming, and unfortunately, tragically died at a very young age. Now, Jones complete. Firing to the 30-yard line, and that is Brown making that reception at the 30.
That's the backup defensive line from Notre Dame. Look at the time for Landry Jones. They like to rotate people to try to stay fresh. The problem is when the backups are in, they're not getting the same pressure, and you're giving Jones time to set his feet and make big throws into some big holes in that secondary, that play.
So the Sooners on the drive across the 30-yard line. Incomplete. It'll be second down and 10 that time. And just to go back on Shepard, you know, he was a little guy in the locker room, and Stoops would see him, and then he suddenly became a high school player, and he said, wow, this young man can really play. They brought him in here. Now there's Oklahoma Award, actually, named in honor of his father as a walk-on. This young man was a walk-on here, and now he's under full scholarship.
That's amazing.
Doing a great job.
And he's really become a player in the last week or two that they're starting to count on. Just an athletic guy in the slot. And Bob said that we had no idea down the road that one day he'd come here and be such a great player for us. But I really thought it was neat that when his father passed away, Bob and the Oklahoma Sooner program kind of put their arms around him, brought him in close, and tried to let him be around the players. And a few years later, he's here playing for this team.
That was the first penalty, Herbie, incidentally. And you know, when Nix is offside, the earth rumbles. That's a big man down there now.
He's quick, though, for that size. Quick up front.
Some 300-pounders who can flat move right now. Some of those fellas are watching us, getting ready for Sunday football tomorrow, too. Second down and 5 now. And grab for a first down, and Stills. They go back to Stills, and now they're in the red zone against the Irish. And anytime you're in a red zone, you look for the Bell-Dozer attack. Blake Bell, the backup quarterback.
But the ball skills of Kenny Stills. Yes, the ball's thrown way to the outside, and he uses nothing but his hands there to secure that football for a big first down.
So it's red zone defense against red zone offense. Best on best down here. First down and 10. Williams into the middle to about the 12-yard line.
Talked earlier about how good they've been in this area. Nobody's been able to run the football in for a touchdown. They've created 5 turnovers, another thing that doesn't show up there down in the red zone as well. Blake Bell, usually once they get inside the 10-yard line, there's a pretty good chance that number 10 could be running out onto this field.
Second down and 5. And they are so soft on Stills that it's just pitch and catch.
In fact,
Russell is so loose on him, and Landry sees it, he just throws it over to his ace.
This is an experienced quarterback. You see this from veterans in college game and the NFL all the time. If a corner's going to sit back like that, Landry Jones just took the ball and just said, we'll take the first down.
And now Williams looking for the first rushing touchdown this season, and he couldn't get it against the Irish. Teo making the stop.
And here comes the big fella, Blake Bell, into the game.
So here comes Teo versus Bell-Dozer. Blake Bell with 8 rushing touchdowns this season. And he checks in for this second down and goal. And he's the big fella from Wichita, Kansas. Wears number 10. The Irish know he's coming. They put a linebacker, Bird, number 44, in that backfield to block for him, along with Millard. They unbalance. Both tackles are on the right, and he's going to go to the left. Here he comes. First rushing touchdown this year against the Irish, and his 9th of the season for OU. They crossed him up that time. They didn't come behind the power. They ran away from it to the weaker side.
And that was why he looked over to the sideline to get the confirmation, and he followed his right guard, Bronson Irwin, and his fullback from the right side around to the left. Play took a little bit of time to develop, but Notre Dame out of position, and the big guy again takes advantage of it. What a weapon.
And now Stoops not happy with this penalty against OU. And that'll bring the extra point attempt back. Let's see now. They've called the touchdown off. I thought this should be the extra point after the penalty, but apparently not. And Landry Jones was throwing for it.
And I think what he's frustrated with is, I think there was a holding call down there, and I think it came in late, and that's why his reaction.
Did we hear it at all?
No, I mean the penalty came almost after the celebration. I think all of a sudden you came in It came in a little bit late.
I didn't
and
even
you didn't
see the
The
flag.
referee didn't even stand out and call it.
I thought they'd been penalized and bringing the extra point attempt back. And instead, folks, it's 3rd and 12. So still no rushing touchdown against the Irish. And dropped. Clay was coming out of the backfield, and he dropped it. And now the field goal team comes on. And Stoops is still very upset. I really can't blame him.
The holding call coming in late like that. Oklahoma's sending in their extra point unit.
Herbie, I never heard an announcement from this Big East crew. I've got to tell you.
He made one.
Honeycutt gets a field goal. Let's go back to this play now. See if you see a flag or anything. Take a look now.
Well, watch right to the. I believe it might be right here. Let's let this play roll. See if it comes in right there towards the end. Maybe it was. Could have been the 44 there, Bird. Maybe he locks up. Well, there's an arm right here. I mean, we could go through every play and find a holding call.
Well, Irwin was wrestling his man down, and then downfield.
But I think it was
somebody
Shimbo.
had to throw a flag.
I think it was Shimbo, 55, going up against the pulling guard Irwin. You could see the left hand get locked up behind the shoulder pad.
So Stoops continues to lobby. It's not going to help. He settles for a field goal. And guess what? Notre Dame still hasn't given up a rushing touchdown.
That's right.
Bell and everybody was celebrating, and over on the Oklahoma sideline. And Herbie, meanwhile, have you got a chance to think about this?
Well, you said Florida. I have to give you an assist. Derek Brooks from Florida State?
No.
That's no?
No, that's not him. Think more of Tallahassee. Down Florida
Derek Brooks. I mean,
yeah, not Derek though.
Okay.
And coming up, but you're in the right spot. Capital One halftime report. John and Jesse will have all the day's big highlights, and that's coming up on our halftime report. So they're telling us Lane Johnson, who I believe it unbalanced as the tackle. And the return by McDaniel. So Herbie, here is the young man from Tallahassee. Who was the last linebacker to finish in the top five. You're going to remember it as soon as you see his name.
I guess Derek Brooks. Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a great year for him in '92.
Great player.
Yep. Marvin Jones is the last one. We've been talking about Teo, but I'm still baffled about that penalty flag.
I think you and I and Bob Stoops, a lot of Sooners fans out there, I still want to see that. I think they told Heather that Lane Johnson, the tackle, but I think it was 68. 69 didn't touch anybody, so it couldn't have been 69.
And the Irish are going to take this lead into the locker room.
Who I circled, Irwin coming around. Watch the right guard coming around. He locks up right there with Shimbo. You can see, it's a hole. I mean, but it's definitely a hole. But I think the frustrating thing is when it came down.
Let's go down to Heather with Coach Stoops and clear some of this up.
Coach, what transpired with the officials when they took that last touchdown away?
Well, I can't talk about officiating, so that's a setup question. I'm trying to coach a game. I can't talk about that.
Did they explain to you what the call was for and when it came, though?
Called holding, but what are you going to do? Judgment calls.
Coach, what can you guys do to make Everett Golson a little bit more uncomfortable in the second half?
Well, we're doing pretty well. He only has 55 yards passing. He hasn't hurt us really running. They had one big run. Other than that, we played really well.
Bob, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Heather. Not very happy. Did you notice that?
No, sir.
Okay. Stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report with John Saunders and Jesse Palmer right after this.
Welcome to the Capital One halftime report.
John Saunders alongside of Jesse Palmer. 10-6, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame have the lead, and they still have yet to give up a rushing touchdown this year. That defense is definitely for real.
Very impressed with that defense. They're giving up a lot of easy completions, but they're doing a great job tackling in the open field. And I've been very impressed with the redshirt freshman quarterback, Everett Golston, and playing in a hostile environment. I think the play calling has helped him feel comfortable, finding easy completions outside of the pocket. He's also been able to make plays running the football, so he's getting into the flow and the rhythm of this game. It's critical now in the second half. Oklahoma does a better job running the football. Damian Williams has to be a factor. They have to be balanced, and if they are, they can run the ball, they can slow down that pass rush from Notre Dame, and find one-on-one opportunities on the perimeter of the field to all their playmakers at wide receiver.
Is there a better defense in the nation than Notre Dame? The answer is yes. The Alabama Crimson Tide, little question about it. They have the #1 defense in the nation, and Mississippi State trying to dent that defense tonight. TJ Yeldon, though, takes a handoff, goes 11 yards.
TJ Yeldon, only a true freshman. Alabama has been inserting itself up front on the offensive line, pushing Mississippi State around.
A.J. McCarron, no talk with his name for the Heisman, but maybe should get into it with this pass.
He should. Finding Kenny Bell, beating Jonathan Banks, maybe the best cornerback in the entire country. Alabama up ahead easy, 21-0. A lot of time left in the second.
Staying in the SEC, Florida also unbeaten, facing Georgia, #2 in the BCS. Will Muschamp's squad has done a great job, but Jeff Driscoll gets hit trying to throw the ball. It's called a fumble. It's loose, and Georgia recovers 6 turnovers. And Todd Gurley then takes a handoff and goes 10 yards for a touchdown.
Todd Gurley, only a true freshman, just like TJ Yeldon, but he's 230 pounds. Doesn't look like a true freshman, doesn't play like one.
Aaron Murray with a nice toss to Malcolm Mitchell, who takes it 45.
Yeah, Aaron Murray threw 3 interceptions, really hurt this Georgia offense, but this was the biggest completion of the game late in the game.
Jeff Driscoll, though, with a chance to lead Florida back, looking for a tie with a touchdown, 2-point conversion, but Jordan Reed jumps there.
Yeah, Florida could not overcome 6 turnovers, and Georgia now controls their own destiny in the SEC East.
Texas Tech against Kansas State. K-State may have been the most impressive team on the day, and Colin Klein is definitely the leader right now when you talk about Heisman. Up the middle for a touchdown.
Texas Tech's defense did a good job holding Colin Klein to only 7 rushing yards in the first half. That would change here, going in from 22 yards out, helping his Heisman campaign. He only had 5 incompletions, 4 total touchdowns. A very impressive win for Bill Snyder and the Wildcats at home.
55-24, the final there. Oregon facing Colorado. This one should have been called early. 35-0 already. DeAnthony Thomas fields this punt and then takes off.
I'm not sure why you punt to DeAnthony Thomas. He ran a 20.6 200-meter in high school as the fastest time in the country. Shows you the speed here. He also averaged 19 yards per carry running the football in this one. He's back in the Heisman race. Oregon getting ready to take on USC next week on the road.
Well, USC, #9, facing Arizona today, looking for what they thought would be an easy victory, but Matt Scott goes to David Richards, 7 yards, a touchdown, and the upset.
Yeah, Matt Scott accounted for 469 yards, including 100 on the ground. A statement win for Rich Rodriguez, his first at Arizona.
So Alabama, things are the way they should be, with a 14-0 lead in a tight game with an unbeaten team in Mississippi State. Everyone wondering what happens beneath them. Who is the next best team?
There is a lot of football left to be played, and with Florida losing today, you certainly expect Kansas State to move into #2 in the BCS. And if Notre Dame wins today, they could leapfrog Oregon as well. I still think Oregon is the second best team in the country, and I understand they haven't played a very strong schedule so far, and that's why they're #6 right now in the computers, but that can all change in November. They have been consistently dominant week in, week out. When their starting offense is on the field, you cannot stop them. When they're starting defenses on the field, you can't score. If they can continue to be consistently dominant in games on the road at USC in November, at home against Stanford, maybe on the road against an unbeaten Oregon State team in the Civil War, and then again in the Pac-12 title game, I think they have a chance to move up in the computer portions of the BCS. I think they're going to stay at #2, at least in the human polls the rest of the way, because they continue to pass the eye test. It's hard not to be impressed with what Kansas State has done today and what Notre Dame is doing right now. But to me, at least now, Oregon's still the second best team in the nation.
They need USC to stop losing.
Yeah,
USC could help them out by beating the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The second biggest story of the day involved an injury. Marcus Lattimore of South Carolina. We'll have that story and plenty more when we come back, including Jesse's prime-time performers who had the best days of this Saturday afternoon.
the Niners Monday night, 8:30 Eastern from Arizona.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. This one in the SEC, we want to warn you, if you're a little squeamish, you might want to turn away from this highlight. Marcus Lattimore takes a horrific injury in this game, and disappointing and upsetting everyone watching and who was at the game as well. There's Lattimore taking off for a touchdown.
Tennessee had been allowing 5 yards a carry, worst in the SEC all season, and Marcus Lattimore taking advantage of that early in the game.
This is what we're talking about. Turn away if you don't want to see this. Lattimore's leg, you see whip around there. And then they have to reset the knee. He was taken to the hospital. Both teams came on the field. That's how much people like this kid.
Yeah, it was really an amazing scene having both teams come out center of the field. Very touching.
Tennessee still playing ball. Tyler Bray finds Zach Rogers for the touchdown. Tennessee down only 3. Rogers with 3 touchdowns in the day. Tyler Bray, though, Jadeveon Clowney gets in the way.
Yeah, best pass rusher in the country. How Tennessee losing. They now start 0-5 in SEC play for the 3rd straight season now in the 3rd year under head coach Derek Dooley.
And there's been no update on Marcus Lattimore, just taken to the hospital, and they're looking at that knee. Meanwhile, Florida State blows out Duke.
This was a matchup of the 2 division leaders inside the ACC. Duke obviously not in the same class with Florida State. That Florida State D knocked out Duke starting quarterback Sean Renfrey. A lot of points early, and that defense way too dominant.
They could meet again. Imagine that. Texas facing Kansas, and Mac Brown has had a tough couple of weeks. But McCoy here finds Mike Davis down the sidelines, 39 yards.
Yeah, David Ash, the starter, got pulled after throwing 2 interceptions. And Case McCoy came in to lead a potential game-winning drive late.
McCoy one more time to DJ Grant in the end zone, touchdown.
Tremendous composure from Case McCoy on the drive, and Kansas has now lost 17 in a row, Big 12 games.
Ohio State facing Penn State. Neither team can go to a bowl or go to the championship game in the Big Ten, but Urban Meyer says we can win the division. Braxton Miller in the shotgun, Jake Stoneburner.
We talk a lot about Colin Klein leading the Heisman race right now. Braxton Miller in that race as well. He had 134 rushing yards in this one as Ohio State now moves to 9-0.
With a big victory, and a couple of teams that had yet to lose come up on the short end. Rutgers goes down to Kent State, Ohio losing to Miami.
With Rutgers losing, that's the 4th time now a MAC team has beaten a team from the Big East this season. And Ohio lose the Battle of the Bricks. They had won 6 in a row against Miami of Ohio. They didn't turn it over and have problems like Rutgers and Florida had, but 3 unbeatens go down early today.
Time now for a look at your prime-time performers. Jesse, I know you gave this a lot of thought.
How about a day for Georgia's linebacker, Jarvis Jones? He had a bad ankle. People weren't sure if he was going to play. 13 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries in their win against Florida. And Marquise Solis sets a Pac-12 record, 16 catches for 345 in a loss against Arizona. Primetime performers make big plays late in games, and Gio Bernard had a game-winning punt return to beat in-state rival NC State with only 13 seconds left, and Ryan Griffin from Tulane was unconscious. 81% completions, 466, 5 TDs as Tulane gets their 2nd win of the season against UAB. Yeah,
Wave getting on primetime performers. Manti Te'o, perhaps he would have been a primetime performer.
In Norman, many expected to see a pre-Halloween unmasking of Notre Dame as a legitimate top 5 title contender. Hasn't happened so far. 10-6 Irish at the break. There were other unmaskings today, but not in Manhattan, Kansas. Bill Snyder's Purple Cats made a resounding case statement. We tend to think of this team as a grinding, methodical team that's sound, doesn't beat itself. That is way underselling this team. They have an underappreciated firepower and a physicality that rivals SEC teams. They'll be big favorites in the last 4 games, and their quarterback, Colin Klein, who was a 4-7 favorite to win the Heisman, what is he now, Secretariat odds? They'll close things out, you get the feeling. Meanwhile, in the SEC, we're reminded how quickly things change. For a while, it was all Georgia. Then South Carolina smacked them down, stole the spotlight. Then they lost it. It was all about Florida until today, when Georgia took it back, and the Dogs 2 wins away from winning the East. In the West, it's been all Bama all season long. But LSU is only 1 upset away from taking views away in the West. That may not be likely to happen the way Bama's making a strong statement tonight. The second half from Norman with Brett and Kirk coming up after this message and a word from your ABC stations.
Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Windows. Well, we welcome you back to the second half as Everett Golson warms up on the sideline with Notre Dame leading Oklahoma 10-6. And Herbie, I think we have cleared up the mystery of what happened on that touchdown that wasn't. It was the referee who made the holding call from way behind the play. And then watch now as you see the holding there by the guard. No question. Now here comes the flag right here and look, behind.
And look where the quarterback,
and you
Blake
can
Bell
see
is.
that Bell is celebrating, and the microphone did not work. Right. So nobody in the stadium heard it, although it was a correct call. But we have looked at that play over and over, and there was holding by that line.
At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, is the crew got the call right. It was just, it came in late, came from the referee, couldn't hear him as far as the announcement was concerned, so there was some confusion there, and I think that's why Bob Stoops was so fired up. When he goes back and he looks at it on film, he's going to say it was the right call. At the end of the day, it was the right call.
Oh, by the way, Notre Dame still hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown this season. The Bulldozer will have to line up and try to do it all over again.
That's right. And I think if there's a theme here for Brian Kelly, he's got a young quarterback that has not turned the ball over. He's not been sacked. They have one penalty for 5 yards, so they're doing the little things so far in that first half to give them this 10-6 lead.
Irish get the ball. This is McDaniel. Breaks free and gets to the 22-yard line. Let's go downstairs now to Heather Cox. Heather?
Brent, I had a chance to catch up with Brian Kelly, and he said he knows in the second half that Oklahoma will try to throw the ball, so he's making some adjustments on coverages. Look for a lot more nickel situation. As far as the offense goes, he said he needs to run the ball more, get back time of possession, and then he said Everett Golson grew up before my very eyes in that first half.
Yeah, it was very interesting watching him as he rolled outside.
He called him a conductor, right? Didn't he tell Heather that before the game started?
First down and 10. They come with the running play with Riddick for a couple of yards as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And Herbie, you can compare the two quarterbacks here.
Well, Landry Jones has put the ball in the air 27 times, close to 200 yards in the first half. You're going to look at those numbers from Everett Golson and say 5 of 11, 55 yards, big deal. He's not making mistakes. He's managing the game, and with a 10-6 lead, that's all they need him to do with the way the Notre Dame defense has played.
Now Wood is checked in for this second down and 9. Play action to him, and Golson firing high and complete. Got it up over the defensive back, Colvin that time, to T.J. Jones, his favorite target.
And I think Brian Kelly's saying he continues to grow up. I think he's actually looking at the slot receiver, Daniels, and he came off of him, puts the ball way up in the air where T.J. Jones can climb the ladder there and make a great catch.
Ball on the 36-yard line. Riddick and Wood continue to rotate. Remember now, Riddick is a fine receiver out of that backfield. This time they will run. Riddick bounces off the first would-be tackle, and there's Jefferson, number 1, finally getting into the fray. And if you haven't noticed him, folks, Tony Jefferson, Jr. from Chula Vista, California, is one of the best safeties in the country. They even put him in the same sentence with Roy Williams, who was an all-timer here in Norman.
And Mike Stoops' adjustment on 1st and 10, they basically have 9 defenders in the box. Tony Jefferson and Javon Harris both on that last play, all the way up close to the linebackers there, giving them that 9-man look to try to stop that running game in Notre Dame.
2 tight ends. Play action to Riddick. Golson will scramble out of trouble. Shakes off the first tackler, picks up the first down, out of bounds near midfield.
You want to know why he's in there? This is why he's in there. I love the play call again by Brian Kelly. He's trying to take a shot. I just said the safeties are starting to nose up. They're starting to cheat into the line of scrimmage. They think Notre Dame's going to be conservative. It's a good play fake. You get them up tight. Linebackers are flowing. Safeties are out of position. He gets flushed there by the big tackle, Casey Walker. But that ability right there to just just get to the corner away from Julius Wilson is the difference there between being short of the first down and picking it up.
Ball on the 48-yard line. Riddick comes out the right side to the Sooners' 47-yard line, and Tom Wirt, the linebacker, number 21, brings him down.
Rhythm again on this drive. We're seeing a nice job of Notre Dame mixing up their looks, mixing up the play calls, trying to get this aggressive Oklahoma defense back on its heels.
And Herbie, Stacey McGee, who had been suspended and is active for this game, is on the field as one of the defensive linemen. They expected him to get about 20 reps tonight. He's a very strong fellow in the middle of that defensive line. They're going to try to run against him right now, and there was nothing doing against the middle that time. This is going to bring up a third down. So Mike Stoops got McGee, who's off the suspension list for this game, out there in the middle of that defensive line right now.
You throw McGee in there, who's probably their best interior player because of his athletic ability and size. You throw he and Jamarcus McFarland and Casey Walker. It's a great three-man rotation. That's what they've missed, is that depth inside.
Let's see if the Irish want to probe in there or if they're going to roll Golson to the outside here on this 3rd and 2. Golson has been very successful on the edge.
They've been motioning the back out to get Tom Wirt to follow him. There it is again. Now run the quarterback.
And they do for the first down, exactly as you called it, Herbie. That's exactly what they did. They cleared the linebacker out.
And this is when you have the mobile quarterback in the college game and you face man coverage. It worked earlier for him. You use the back. Take the middle linebacker, he follows him, and then you just open up the left side. Good job on the left side by Zach Martin and Chris Watt. And that is an easy play and a good call again. Heads up by Brian Kelly, and a good job with the athletic ability there of Everett Golson.
Wood comes in, an impressive opening drive here in the second half so far. Irish are at the Sooners' 35-yard line. First down and 10. Pressure coming. Wood cuts back away from it. And he gets down close to the 30-yard line on that first down run. And Nelson, the linebacker, was coming around the left edge that time.
I think people underestimate the athletic ability of this Notre Dame offense. Not just Golson back there, but the combination of Sierra Wood, Theo Riddick now playing more in the backfield. We've talked a lot about T.J. Jones and, of course, what you see from Tyler Eifert. They've got a lot of athletic ability surrounding this quarterback position this year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Second down and 6. Riddick. He goes out to the right side of the formation, works the middle. They throw back for a first down to the other side, and Tyler Eifert has just made his first catch of the game.
This quarterback continues to grow up for Brian Kelly, and when he has time, you can see he gets those feet set, and he is calm in that pocket right now. And if you see this quarterback and you think he's a great athlete who's trying to play quarterback, it's the opposite. He's a quarterback who happens to be very athletic, who's just inexperienced, and you can see him settling down, and when he settles down, boy, he can throw the football.
Won a state high school championship out of Myrtle Beach back in South Carolina. First down and 10. Jones tightens up on the left side, and a cutback run by Riddick. Picking up 2-3 yards. Tony Jefferson making another stop. And downfield, Eifert was being tied up in that backfield by one of the defensive backs, and the officials quickly jump in. It is second down and 8.
Just managing the game, making good decisions up to this point. 10 plays, 56 yards here, eating up over 5 minutes of the clock here to start the second half.
Sierra Wood into that backfield. And Golson will go back into the gun. Sierra Wood right in the middle. Pops out short of that first down, however, by about 4 yards. Wirt again making another tackle. So here comes your big third down now on this drive.
It's getting a little chippy out there, and I think that's why you're hearing a reaction from the crowd. Some of the receivers and defensive backs are going at it after the whistle.
Kelly's offense needs 4 yards.
They're already in field goal range, and you want to avoid a mistake at the quarterback position. Again, we keep hitting that theme because that's been something that has affected Notre Dame's offense all year.
He's bringing it down and calling a timeout. On this 3rd and 4, Kelly wants a timeout. Riddick had checked into the game And Kelly not happy with something. Talking to his center cave. Well, here's the coach's trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. That'll be awarded to the 2013 Discover BCS Championship game in Miami on the night of January 7th. One of the teams in contention right now, the undefeated Notre Dame Fighting Irish, leading Oklahoma with a 3rd down and 4. They need to get to the 14-yard line for the 1st down. There's Nelson creeping up on that left side again.
He's seeing man coverage. He may want to try to isolate his back or try to get the ball to Eifert at the bottom.
Pocket holds, short, incomplete. Wanted Eifert again, and the field goal unit will trot out on this 4th down.
And I think that's the first time tonight we've seen Golson just make a poor throw. The decision was right. Oklahoma brought a corner blitz with Colvin, and he had a one-on-one matchup with Eifert, but instead of putting it up high with a 6'6" tight end, could make a play on it, he threw it down low.
So that's about a 7-minute drive as Kelly works with his quarterback on the far side. There were 3 pass plays and 9 running plays. This will be a 35-yard field goal attempt by Kyle Brinza. Pulled it left. Pulled that one left. And the margin stays at 4. Brinza, I believe, Herbie, you told me, was 1 of 3 last week against BYU.
Snap a little bit low. He got the hole, got the laces spun, but the struggles continue for the freshman kicker.
So the Stoops brothers survive. Saturday Night Football on ABC. Brought to you by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites. Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Mas. And John Hancock, talk with your financial advisor.
Well, play like a champion today is saying that both Notre Dame and Oklahoma football use. Bud Wilkinson put it in down here in the late 40s in Norman. And of course the Irish, you see them tap that top of that wall when they go out to the field up in South Bend. And now Williams on a running play on 1st down, and Spahn makes the stop. Talk a little bit about Landry Jones now as he's trying to get them into a little bit of an up-tempo offense. Moves up quickly behind center. Quick strike to the outside this time and got the 1st down in the hands of Saunders. But you know, Herbie, I was listening to an Elton John song the other day, and it really reminded me of Elton when he sang this about Landry Jones. Every one of us has to face that day. Do you cross that bridge or do you fade away? And that is so very much about this quarterback at Oklahoma, Landry Jones. Do you cross that bridge or do you fade away? Here's a young man, passed up going to the NFL, came back his senior year, and he has so much to prove here because he slumped last year here in Norman.
He really did, and I think he looked at the adversity and some of the criticism as a challenge to come back and show what he can do here in his senior year. He's only playing with 1 receiver who played on this team last year, and Kenny Stills. The rest of this group he's had to break in this year.
2nd down and 5. Williams picks up the 1st down as he drops it off to his running back, and he's to the 46-yard line.
I mean, he's already thrown the football tonight 30 times. I understand what Josh Heupel's trying to do. They think that there's an advantage with their tempo, getting Notre Dame out in space, but still think they can run the ball and need to run the ball.
Play action. Landry Jones fires downfield, and Saunders again, who's had a big night catching the ball for Landry Jones.
They've been able to find some holes in the secondary. Jones has been able to make the quick reads, process that information, and get the ball out. You can see how quickly he works down the line, make sure they get the call and get the ball snapped.
Again, Jones looking back and coming in underneath to Millard, the fullback, who's back to the line of scrimmage with Shimbo making the stop for the Irish.
And they keep going hurry up, a lot of short throws. And let's think about Notre Dame's philosophy on the other side. Keep everything in front of us. Don't let anything get behind us. Give up some yards, force them into the red zone, which is a strength of the defense, and then try to hold on and force them into field goals. That's what they've been able to do up to this point.
Kenny Stills has to be so frustrated that he hasn't been able to get deep because Russell has really played him softly over there. On the top of your screen, you'll see number 4. Second down and 10. They come back with the running play. Williams, and he's thrown for a loss by Calabrese.
Calabrese and Fox rotate in and out. Calabrese more the physical of the two, defends the run very well. But when Oklahoma, as much as I'm saying they need to run the ball, the battle up front is being won the entire game by Notre Dame's defensive line. Tuitt, Nix, Lewis Moore controlling the trenches against the Sooners front.
Third down and 12. Jones checks back over the sideline. Heupel's the play caller upstairs.
Number 2 in the slot, Matthias.
Clock inside at 10 seconds now.
Here he comes, Matthias.
Pocket holds, coming in underneath, and Williams is tripped up by Russell. So the corner came over and tripped him up, made a nice stop on that play.
Again, Bob Diaco is mixing things up on third down. What he's doing, he's playing soft for the most part on first and second down. And then when they get Jones to some third and obvious passing situations, that's where you're seeing the combination coverages, mixing up the looks. And again, let's keep everything in front of us and let's rely on our defenders to be fundamentally sound in making tackles and then force the field goal or the punt.
Yeah, Neal is back deep now with Tress Way. This one headed for the end zone and caught at the 2-yard line where it is down. Justin Brown getting down there for the Sooners on coverage, did an outstanding job.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Well, it was great being on the bus earlier this afternoon, watching all the games, especially that Kansas State performance when they exploded, Herbie, on the Red Raiders. I mean, what a good-looking football team that is.
Yeah, game early, and Bill Snyder's team just continues to impress.
Now Everett Golson and the Irish backed up the shadow of their own goalpost now. Got to come out from the 2-yard line. They put it in Riddick's hands, and it bounces up the middle with Nelson hanging on. Crosses that 5-yard line, trying to get a little bit of daylight now. Only 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter. And if you just joined us, Oklahoma had a touchdown called back late in the first half. And they kicked a field goal. And it's a 10-6 game as the Irish moments ago missed a field goal here in the second half. Second down and 5. Riddick is your running back, number 6, behind sophomore quarterback Everett Golson. Play action by Golson. Going to keep it. Got the first down. Out to the 21, 22, forced out of bounds around the 24-yard line. Everett Golson showing you why Brian Kelly likes him.
Watch Chris Watt, the left guard, pulling. This is a design quarterback. Get him downfield. Get him out on the edge. Get him away from the defense, the teeth of that defense, and allow him to show you what he can do when he gets to a perimeter. He can make people miss. He's got acceleration, and he's not afraid. He's not looking to slide. He's almost like a tailback when he gets out there. Another great play there by this young quarterback. And because of the way he's playing, avoiding mistakes, you notice, you listen to this crowd, Brian Kelly and the way he's called the game has really taken this crowd out of the game.
Play action again on 1st and 10 all day. Left side, caught beautifully by Daniels, and it's another first down.
I think Daniels comes up with a great catch, but he looked a little bit confused on his route. They're trying to catch this Oklahoma defense snapping. It's a hard play fake, trying to get the safeties to bite up. But here Daniels actually gave a little bit of a double move to Colvin, and then he kind of gave up on his route. Next thing you know, the quarterback's throwing him the ball, and he makes the catch.
Now the Irish bring a little tempo. Here's Riddick to midfield with Nelson in there. Herbie, you know Clowney, the defensive end at South Carolina. You know how much you like him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. Clowney and Mr. Golson squared off in a state high school football game in South Carolina.
Wow, what a game.
And Mr. Clowney got on him right away, okay, for a sack, but Mr. Golson won the game.
I don't doubt it.
Okay.
I don't doubt it.
Picked him apart after
Kid's
that.
a winner.
So we're talking about a young man who was a terrific high school performer, recruited throughout the South, decided to come to Notre Dame. Here it is, second down and 6 for him now. Running right straight ahead, and this will be third down. Hey, let's go for an update. Here's Robert Flores in the studio. Robert, what do you got for us?
All right, Brett, here's a nominee for the AT&T All-America Player of the Week, and it is Kansas State quarterback Colin Klein. Another magnificent display. 4 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 2 through the air as Kansas State rolls over Texas Tech. You can text VOTE to 34763. Results announced Thursday on ESPN. Brent.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, Herbie, I hope we wind up in Manhattan, Kansas. See our old friend Bill Snyder.
Big
Colin
story.
Klein, the favorite for the Heisman Trophy. They're very much in that BCS championship mix now. Golson pulls out to the left, complete, and it's an Irish first down near the 40-yard line. Toma, the target.
Sometimes you're in a zone, and right now that's wherever Golson is. And his numbers aren't going to jump out at you when you look at him, but he's just making good decisions, especially when it matters the most. And you notice where he is again? Out on the perimeter. Get him to the edge where he's more comfortable. Oklahoma was soft that time in their man coverage on third down. Toma easily picks up that first down.
Martin, Watt, Cave, Golick, and Lombard doing a good job up front for him, too. Play action on first down. Going to throw it again. Far side. Incomplete that time. Jones was the target, and Hurst, who was shaken up in the first half, making a very, very good stop. Golson has a strong arm.
Big arm, big arm. Does Hurst get his right hand in here on this football, or did Jones just drop it? I think he just dropped that football. The ball was in there.
Watch the right hand now.
But the ball goes in and out.
Yeah, and it's come a little bit loose, and Hurst made sure it hit the ground.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
But another good throw that time. You always worry about a young quarterback throwing it late in that situation, and it allows a defender to step in front of it, but he threw it on time.
I remember this drive started way back at the 3-yard line now. Sierra Wood, who has a 62-yard touchdown, our only touchdown of the night, and a direct snap. And Jefferson bolts, picks up the ball, running free. And the line judge says it's down. The line judge is marking down. Jefferson going to take it all the way to the end zone. So Golson shaken up on the play. The line judge will make the assessment here, and you be the judge. Was he down before the ball came out?
Brent, they called this play a number of times. Work goes out. Look at the adjustment. This time Jefferson comes up and drops the hammer on Golson. We've seen enough of that play. Twice it's worked to allow Notre Dame to get big yards, and this time Jefferson comes up and puts on a big hit.
Big hit, knocks the wind out is what it appears on that tackle. Down goes Golson. Did you think?
I think he's down. I think you can see his elbow touching.
Watch the elbow with the ball.
Yeah, he's down.
Hits the ground. Okay, instant replay taking a look. Meanwhile, the Irish will have to send in Tommy Rees or Andrew Hendricks for at least one play. Jefferson has made 6 tackles in this half, and there is the junior from Lake Forest, Tommy Rees, warming up on the Irish sideline. I believe he just knocked the wind out of him. When I saw that one replay, that's what it looked like, and it's Brian Kelly very happy to see him.
He's running right out. He's running right next to him.
You bet.
Talk to me, babe.
Franchise, you okay?
Right. Come on, babe. We'll give you a playoff. Get some water.
Come on, get a drink of water. Come back to me when you're ready to go.
Well, here's an interesting situation. You get not only is Rees coming in now, but you got a third down. Do you take a chance with Rees and throw the ball, something he can do, or do you run the football here just because he hasn't probably thrown the football here for quite some time? Interesting call from Brian Kelly.
Riddick checks in as an extra receiver, and they send Rees right back into that gun. They show passing formation right away. 3 on the clock. Eifert's down to the left. Rees looking in that direction, fires to the big tight end, got the first down. What a gutsy throw. He had Eifert all the way.
And Tommy Rees has come into the Purdue game, the Michigan game, the Stanford game. Last week started in the BYU game. This is the luxury of having a Tommy Rees, a veteran, and look who he dials up, as you said. He finds Eifert one-on-one at 6'6", matched up against a 5'11" corner in Colvin.
We got a timeout with the ball on the Sooners' 27-yard line and a 1st and 10. So we're coming down now to the end of the 3rd quarter. And this presentation of Saturday Night Football presented by Windows 8. We'll return with the money quarter after this message
Irish,
and a word
let's go,
from our ABC stations.
Here we go. We are indeed.
Windows 8. With Kirk Herbstreit and Heather Cox, I'm Brent Musburger. It's Notre Dame and Oklahoma. The Fighting Irish lead it. They have a 1st and 10, and Everett Golson back on the field after being shaken up. He is back with Riddick as his running back, and they're going to throw the end around off of it. Goodman throws incomplete. They had Jones working downfield, but it did not fool the Sooners. And let's check in down below with Heather Cox.
Guys, Everett Golson came off the field, ran over to the bench and grabbed a bottle of ice water, dumped it on top of his head. The athletic trainer surrounded him. He said, "I'm fine," put his helmet back on, ran back to Brian Kelly and said, "Put me back in, coach." So Everett Golson certainly wanted to finish this game out for his Irish.
Well, here he is, Heather.
Remember, he had a turf toe against Miami, the concussion against Stanford. Now he bounces back here after missing a play.
2nd and 10. Keeps it. Nothing doing, and he's swatted aside by Lynn. Gabe Lynn, a junior from just down the road in Tulsa.
Big play. Also, Brent, Aaron Franklin right there forces him to go east and west. And when you have the speed that Oklahoma has, Franklin makes the play, and Glenn cleans it up.
Nice 3rd down and 10. The Irish have missed one field goal and made one. So it's a big 3rd and 10 coming up here for Brian Kelly and the Irish. Golson stands in and delivers to Eifert, and Eifert on the ground. I believe it, they've waved off. Incomplete.
And they brought pressure, which means it's one-on-one. Eifert against Hurst. He beat Colvin on the other side. The ball's low. Hurst does a good job of coming in and knocking that ball away. Ball was thrown low, and it did not give Eifert much of a chance to secure that.
Hurst did a terrific job of
making
sure there was no doubt when he came back in over the top. And so here comes a Brenza field goal. This is a 44-yarder. Curling. Good. It was close, wasn't it, folks? Wait for that signal, but the Irish go up by 7 on this 44-yard field goal by Kyle Brenza out of Canton, Michigan.
That was really close.
Heat's on Landry Jones, folks. Is he going to cross that bridge, or is he going to fade away tonight? 13:57 remaining with the Irish leading. A reminder that Monday night, NFC West, 49ers go down to the desert to play the Cardinals, and there are several fellas who played for these two teams who will be involved. If you're wondering about Michael Floyd, that outstanding receiver from Notre Dame, he plays for the Arizona Cardinals. And a couple of Irish are also playing for Jim Harbaugh. So that'll be Monday night football here on ESPN. And now, Herbie, the heat is on. The Irish have done a good job of bringing that clock down. We've got 13:57. They're up by 7.
This will be Oklahoma, only their 2nd possession here in the 2nd half.
So the play will take a knee, and it'll come out on the 25-yard line. The Pacific Life game summary, and we're going to show you the 2 biggest moments of this football game. In the first half, Sierra Wood exploded for 62 yards. And then, Herbie, a little bit of controversy late in the first half.
It looked like Bell was going to take this in for a touchdown, and there's a holding call, and the right call was made. It just came in late, and that's what really frustrated, I think, Bob Stoops, was to have the official throw that flag late. But let's make sure we reiterate for both fan bases, the right call was made.
And so the Notre Dame defense still has not allowed a rushing touchdown this season. Simply amazing. Landry Jones, the senior quarterback. Play action. Looking downfield. And a strike to Saunders, who was wrestled down at the 45-yard line
Brent, that is a slow developing play, not to mention that Zeke Mata came on a blitz, but the Sooners picked it up perfectly.
And quickly, Damian Williams, the running back, tries to get that right edge, and he's forced out of bounds by Jackson on that far side.
For people just tuning in, Oklahoma's had a lot of success just kind of getting the ball out to the flat in a hurry with their tempo. Notre Dame's in soft coverage. They're throwing it out there, picking up yards, but they're not able to turn that into points up to this point.
Play action again. Landry Jones working to his left, has to throw it away. And now a huge third down in this football game.
And Teo chasing down Landry Jones and made him throw that a little bit prematurely. And there's Saunders, who's had a big night, coming over to the sideline.
Yeah, he's had a 143-yard night.
11 catches on him. Third down, here we go.
Checks back over to the sideline.
There's Teo, Brent, and he's starting to sneak up. Last time he blitzed and they checked, they tried to pick him up. He got in free.
He's coming from the right side. They do pick him up. Jones goes the other way, incomplete. Russell was over there on that side for the Irish against Brown.
And Tuitt comes around on a stunt. Mantateo takes up so much attention, and they picked him up, but Tuitt, who always seems to get home and always gets to the quarterback, it's not a sack, but he affected the quarterback and made him throw the ball. He didn't have a chance of being able to execute on that third down. It had everything to do with, once again, the battle up front favoring Notre Dame.
It's been a long time since I've heard Norman, Oklahoma at an Oklahoma Sooner football game this quiet. Expressway, fair catch is signaled by Neal on the 10-yard line. Folks, I can't believe how quiet this is. Irish are making believers out of this crowd.
Take control of your personal economy.
Well, Herbie, I want to come back and talk about what we're seeing here with this Notre Dame team.
Notre Dame right now is thinking about, let's get one more possession where we can get a field goal and maybe put this game out of reach.
Golson again with that movement on first down, and then he'll just chuck this one away and live to fight another play. I want to take a look at this week's BCF standings, brought to you by Vizio, and simply because, Herbie, obviously we're going to have a new number 2. Is it automatic that Kansas State will move up?
Well, for me, they were number 2 last week, but I think in the BCS standings, they now will move up with Florida losing. Oregon, they were very kind today, only winning 70-14 against a very poor Colorado team. And we're watching the Irish right now with a great chance to move up into the top 3, maybe top 3, obviously the top 4.
Riddick is your running back. Jones is number 7. Here comes Riddick into the heart of that defense. And the Sooners throwing back. Nelson there.
Let's not forget here. I mean, we don't want to celebrate a Notre Dame victory, and we're not trying to do that. They're up by a touchdown. They got a quarterback who's played great tonight, but at any moment he's a redshirt freshman, and he potentially can make a mistake and put the ball into the arms of an Oklahoma defender. This third down, it's not just about getting a first down, it's about playing smart if you're Notre Dame.
Remember now, their last 2 drives, the Irish went 13 plays each. This could be a 3 and out.
A lot of confusion from the Notre Dame side.
No question about it. Nicholas late to the party, and a timeout is going to get burned, so they screw up a personnel adjustment, and Kelly is not happy about it. That could be an important timeout, and Kelly is very disappointed with an assistant coach down there on the sideline. Watch that Irish temper, coach.
And he's been so good tonight.
He's been such a good lad all year. We'll be right back, folks. Well, a quick reminder, Herbie, the All Access Kentucky. I know you've really enjoyed watching John Calipari, who's been mic'd up. He's got another great team.
I'm a fan of All Access. We've seen it with college football, and John Calipari, to me, is a fascinating watch. If you haven't seen it, you want to tune into that. Great TV.
So here comes third down now. Irish need 7. In trouble. Has to throw it away.
Great play, throw it away. We just talked about he's still a freshman. You never know when he might put one into coverage. You could tell that Brian Kelly worked with him very hard this week, that, hey, if it's not there, throw it away, especially deep in our own territory. He waits, then he starts to try to make something happen, and Oklahoma did a good job of containing him, keeping him in the pocket, and eventually all he could do is throw it away.
All right, here's an opportunity for Oklahoma. Justin Brown is back. Takes a little bit of a Notre Dame bounce, but still, Landry Jones and the Sooners are going to be working with half a field. They're down by 7. This is the chance that the Sooners have been waiting for here in the second half. Can they take advantage of it? Best starting field position for Oklahoma tonight. Their own 48-yard line. Landry Jones with Damian Williams as his running back. They have not been able to run. Still throwing on first down, dropped, incomplete. So it'll be second down and 10, and Russell was right there defensively for the Irish. He's that freshman from Everett, Washington.
People wanted to know, how would Russell, how would Jackson, how would Farley, the 3 new starters this year to go along with Mata back there, how would they play? I wanted to see it. You wanted to see it. We all wanted to see it. They're holding their own tonight.
Second and 10, and you know that Kenny Stills is getting anxious. Jones looking back, complete, picked it up, Saunders, and he's down close to the 15-yard line.
They gave the same look and then just threw behind it. The same exact look, and then they throw the slant right behind it. A nice big window that Landry Jones is able to find. And Saunders in the slot has had the best night attacking the interior of Notre Dame's defense. That's his 12th catch tonight.
That was a 35-yarder. Now it's strength against strength. OU in the red zone, Notre Dame's defense in the red zone. Damian Williams slips the first tackle, and he is finally upended by Russell, the corner coming over to make the stop.
The big guy out front, Lewis Nix.
Got a shaken up member of the offense right now. And is that Lane?
Yeah,
that's Lane Johnson. That's their big left tackle. One-time quarterback at Kilgore College.
They don't have a lot of depth, Brent, on this offensive line.
Tyrus Thompson is one that they have, and I see number 71 out there right now. Herbie, 6'5", 303.
He really provides most of the depth. They can move some people around, but they lost Ben Haberin, who quit back in August, and Tyler Evans had an injury in camp. 2 guys that were projected to start. But I started to say Lewis Nix is just having a great game tonight. He and Gabe Eichert have matched up there, and he continues to push Eichert right into the backfield.
He's a young man who JC quarterback, came to OU as a tight end and now playing left tackle. Here comes the Belldozer, I believe. I see number 10.
He's out there.
There he is. So here is Blake Bell, sophomore from Wichita. It's a second down and 6. They're just across the 15-yard line. Ball spotted at the 13. Looking to run to the right and back to the middle, and comes up short of the first down marker. They need about 3 yards here.
They're 2 of 10 tonight on third down.
So they're going to stay with their backup quarterback with Landry Jones on that sideline.
Like you say, Brent, good against good. Big play here.
Coming back to the left side, and he will not get the first down. Now you're down by 7 points here with just inside of 10 minutes to go. I believe he's going to stick right there with Belldozer. No one in the field goal unit has stepped out on the field right now. 7-point game, 4th down and 2.
Remember, Bell can throw it as well. Haven't shown that look all year.
looking to throw, does drop it off. Millard, the fullback, first and goal at the 1-yard line. Herbie right on the money with that call. They came up with it, just like you said they hadn't shown it.
They haven't shown it, and they saved it for the right time. Crucial moment in this game. Notre Dame expecting him to run. They slip out the fullback.
Remember, Bell scored earlier and it was called back. This time he's dives for the end zone. I don't see a flag this time. Touchdown. The first rushing touchdown this year against Notre Dame. And Oklahoma is an extra point away from a tie.
A great call by Heupel. The previous play to set it up. And people forget, Blake Bell doesn't look it, but he's 6'6", 260 pounds going into that end zone, and he went right over the top of the Notre Dame defender, Bennett Jackson.
And remember, it was the pass that earned a first down for the Sooners before he barged in for the touchdown. And now Honeycutt trots on to see if he can tie this game up.
Going to take a peek to see if his knee touched before the ball broke the plane.
Well, that time his microphone worked.
Let's see if his knee touches. Watch at the end of this play, Jackson, the corner, comes up and ends up on his back. From there, it looked like he got his whole body across. Let's
What's
see
the right knee now?
Knee touches. Admire the courage there. No, he's good. He's in. Admire the courage from Jackson at 185 pounds. It's like a tight end coming downhill at you. I watched him in practice.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
I watched him in practice on Thursday, and I walked away because I said to Bob, I said, can he throw it? And he said, we don't recruit quarterbacks here that can't throw it. People think he's just a short yardage guy. He's the front runner in spring to take over for Landry Jones. He can really throw it and run this up-tempo offense.
That's the first rushing touchdown against Notre Dame in 41 quarters. Honeycutt. Deadlocked at 13. Fourth quarter. Norman, Oklahoma. We're back in Norman, Oklahoma, and now the crowd has started to climb in.
First time all night. We've really felt him. You talked about the best field position that Notre Dame or that Oklahoma had. What would they do with it? And they're able to put it into the end zone to tie this game up.
Yeah, stopping the Irish back there and winning the field position battle was just critical for them. And now Oklahoma will kick it off here with 9 minutes remaining in regulation, and Cam McDaniel picks it up, comes to the right, and he is out to about the 27-yard line. Now, we mentioned the last time that anybody scored against the Irish, November 19, 2011, and that was Josh Bordner, the BC quarterback, with a 2-yard touchdown run. They didn't let anybody score against them in the Stanford or the Florida State bowl game, and this tonight. So finally they have given up a rushing touchdown.
Something about those big quarterbacks. BC got a lot like what we see from the Belldozer.
Theo Riddick will be the Notre Dame running back. Golson on first down to Jones. Colvin is the defender on that far side.
But the confidence that Brian Kelly has in Golson. Crowds back into the game. Oklahoma just tied it up at 13, under 9 minutes to go. He comes right out with the very first play, sees a soft corner, gives the freshman quarterback a chance to put it out there and take advantage of it. Instead of pulling the horns in and getting conservative, he said he's a conductor, he's an artist. We're going to find out what kind of artist he could be here with less than 9 minutes to go in the game tied.
2nd and 2. Play action. Throwing deep downfield, got a man open, and he's got Brown to the 14-yard line on a strike from Golson to Chris Brown for 50 yards.
Great job here by the quarterback actually doing what he needed to do in the pocket. But watch the safety, Harris. Watch him react to the play action. He's up. He bites enough, and it gives him a huge hole behind coverage. It's what they wanted to attack all night long. Brown gives a little move on Hurst, goes to the inside, but Harris out of position opened it up for Golson.
Riddick, the running back. Sweep left. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Tony Jefferson, who's had a brilliant second half from that safety position.
He is as aggressive a safety as you will find. And Notre Dame's done a good job when they have had run the football with success at trying to get a hat on him with the receiver. That time he's coming downhill so fast the way he and Harris did the previous play. Notre Dame didn't have much of a chance at all. But I cannot say enough about the combination of Brian Kelly's play calling and Everett Golson, the way he stepped up on those first two plays of this drive.
Oklahoma will try to tie Eifert up. Back there at the H-back position. They roll to the right. They throw in underneath to the running back, Riddick, who's a fine receiver, and he is down and out of bounds at the 3-yard line. That's a 1st and goal.
Great job of getting the ball out in a hurry. Man coverage. Tight end stays in. Eifert, you'd think he'd go out as a receiver. He actually stays in to be able to help out, but he got the football out of his hands quickly, something he's really been working on hard to make those quick decisions and give a back like Riddick a chance to make a play.
What an answer by Notre Dame after that tying touchdown against Bob Stoops and the Sooners. 1st down and goal. Riddick stays on the field. Golson up under center. Play action. They're looking to throw. Golson not going to take off to the left. He's cut off. And he is down. He loses back to the 6-yard line. And Hurst, the corner, coming up. Number 6 on that play.
They tried to catch him napping. Again, 1st and 10, play action, but Oklahoma all over it with Julian Wilson, Tony Jefferson. They were not going to let Eifert get that jump ball. They locked him down completely. Golson tried to make something happen there, Brent.
If the tight end had sealed off Hurst that time, Golson could have kept it and headed for the flag. He instead came off to get one of the defensive linemen, and Hurst was free to make the play. Now it is 2nd down and goal. Play clock's down to 1. Gets it off in time. Looking to throw. Got a man. Eifert is hit by Jefferson. Made the catch in short of the end zone. What a play by Jefferson to prevent a touchdown as Eifert makes a tremendous grab here. But watch the safety.
They brought the corner blitz, so Jefferson's matched one-on-one. Terrific effort and concentration by Eifert to hold on to the football.
And watch number 1.
Jefferson's there, but I thought that ball came out, goes across, it makes the play. Great catch.
Great grab. 3rd down and goal. Golson keeps it, dives into the middle of the end zone. No signal yet. No signal.
He's handing the ball. He's already out of there.
He's halfway out of the end zone.
There
Finally, touchdown. Hey,
let's
hear it for the line judges down there. Way to go, guys.
He was almost to the bench. We didn't have a football to look for. Can we say it again? 7 plays, 73 yards. Notre Dame comes right back, and Brent, if Notre Dame keeps winning football games, they're going to turn and remember this sequence of plays when their young freshman quarterback turned his season around, and tonight he has played well the entire evening.
So here is Brunza.
There's a touchdown.
So they're going to take a look now to make sure that the knee was not down when Golson dove into the end zone. There was no question about him landing in the end zone from up here. This is going to be the relationship of the knees. I'm going to be surprised if it was down. It looked like he had a little daylight in there as he moved in behind Cave, Golick, and Watt. What a performance by this young quarterback here tonight. Well, he flies right on into the end zone.
They're checking that knee. Looks like his ball's across by the time that left knee touched.
You know, we read and I heard all week long that Notre Dame hadn't played anybody, that they made it undefeated at number 5 on a soft schedule. I dare say some of those folks would like to have some of the paragraphs and some of the words back, because it is not true.
Well,
watching this team here tonight in Norman, Oklahoma, this is a real good football team no matter what happens the rest of the way.
I guess I would say that if you look at who they've beaten, I think people wondered, okay, on the road against a team like Oklahoma that's got firepower, let's see what they can do. And I think they just took that next step in their journey of proving that they are a legitimate team to be considered up in the top 2 or 3 in the country. It's a big win for them. And their quarterback, he hasn't played this well all year. And Brian Kelly's play calling and the confidence that he has shown in Everett Golson has been a big key, and especially crucial moments in tonight's game. And we still have some time here, and we got Landry Jones and his receivers with 5 minutes to go.
And if they get close, you got the bulldozer. And here is Brunza. Make this a 7-point game. On the money. Let's check in with Robert Flores. Robert.
All right, Brent, here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now, brought to you by HP. Yahoo Sports just reporting that the Rockets and Thunder have agreed to a multiplayer, multi-pick deal going to Houston. James Harden and some other pieces going to Oklahoma City. Kevin Martin, the rookie Jeremy Lamb, and some draft picks. Details, SportsCenter right now on ESPN News.
Well, I'll tell you, folks up in Oklahoma City are interested in that story, Robert. Thanks for that update. James Harden had some big games for them in the playoffs last year. And so that update, James Harden had some big games for them in the playoffs last year. And so let's check in now on the Fighting Irish here. And they're going to be big favorites against Pittsburgh, at Boston College and Wake Forest. And then on November 24th, they're going to go out on that Thanksgiving Saturday, and they're going to play USC in the Los Angeles Coliseum. So should the Irish be able to get out of here, and remember, there's still 5 minutes to go, this is not going to be easy.
Nope. But if they do get out of this, probably sitting at 11-0 going into that SC game.
Yeah, you would think, wouldn't you? So remember that pass, that 50-yard pass to Chris Brown. That was Golson's longest career completion. And that set up that touchdown march. Golson finishing it off, diving into the end zone. And Oklahoma will have the ball at the 25-yard line. I want to remind you again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, Martinsville. There's only 4 races left to decide the championship. Brad Keselowski, fine young driver, trying to hang on. Jimmy Johnson in hot pursuit. And now Oklahoma trailing again. We'll see what they can do.
Well, Landry Jones, I'm sure he's going to try to find the slot receiver, Jalen Saunders. He's had the best night tonight. We've talked about his 12 catches. And they've attacked the linebackers in that safety area in the middle of the Notre Dame defense.
Notre Dame with 4 linemen down. Linebackers are off about 4 yards. Looking in on Landry Jones. Rushed the 4, had plenty of time, and there's Saunders, just as you said, Herbie, for about 8 yards.
Yeah, Notre Dame's playing again 2 safeties that are deep at about 15 to 20 yards, trying to keep the big play in front of them. They don't want anything to get behind them. And the corners are sagging a little bit, and that's where Jones is throwing the football underneath the covers.
Jones with time. Incomplete. And I believe Stills might have went down. So I believe he was just picking himself up. And it'll be 3rd down and 3 now. Coming up for the Sooners again. Another 3rd down play. And they are only 2 of 11 on 3rd down.
What was your Elton John line?
You either cross that bridge or you fade away.
You need to settle in that pocket and take charge and be a leader for this offense. This game is not over.
Third down and 3. Steps up, fires. That stills for the first down. And he steps out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
Really, Landry Jones, this time he does a good job of buying some time. Notre Dame got pressure on him. He had to step up into the pocket and off to his left. He found his receiver. They can kind of dink and dunk their way down the field. Probably going to come down to whether or not they can execute in the red zone. This time Notre Dame tightens up their coverage on the outside.
Now on first down, Jones straight back. Teo grabbed it. Teo may have gotten an interception. It's being signaled yes. The ball was in the air, and Manti Teo, this could be a Heisman moment for this young man. This is an incredible dive, and until we see it on replay, it goes as an interception. What a performance.
It's a great job by Manti Teo, but also let's give an assist to Dan Fox, who gets all over Saunders and knocks that football up into the air. Brent, I just said Notre Dame tightened their coverage up. They made Saunders work to his point, and a good job by the linebacker, Fox.
Look out, it was coming loose. Instant replay is going to want to take another look at it. Watch at the end of this. Hands are clearly under the ball. But then, as he was going down at the end, let's see if they stop it.
Yep, they are.
There's no question in my mind, but the end of this, there was some movement of that football.
It looks to me like he had possession. I think you could see the football skim the grass, but talking to crews all over the country, they always talk about whether or not, it's not if the ball touches the surface, it's if the defender in this case has possession of the football. Did he have complete possession of the ball? Even if it touches the surface. You can see the ball touch the surface. It's the judgment call for the crew upstairs to determine whether or not he had possession when that ball touched the grass. Here's Mike Stoops telling you what he thinks. Usually you would see them go with the call on the field in these kind of situations. If it holds up, as you said, it's his 5th interception of the year. Notre Dame has created 17 turnovers coming into tonight. This would be their 18th. They only had 14 that they created all of last year.
Clock is down to 4:27 when this decision is made. Oklahoma with all 3 of its timeouts, Notre Dame with only 1. Taking a long time.
That's one of those literally could go either way.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down for Notre Dame.
So Teo's interception stands. What a brilliant, brilliant career this young man has had. And I'm so impressed with him when you read stories about how he learns the names of all the walk-ons and all the youngsters who don't play much, and says he wants to make sure that they feel that they're part of the team, and calls everybody by name. And had the tragedy this year, grandmother and girlfriend passing away back in Hawaii. And now Golson and the Irish. Riddick breaks free, gets a first down on the opening carry after that turnover.
Oklahoma's defense has got to be careful with 4 minutes to go and 3 timeouts. You can't lose your discipline. You can't lose your focus on trying to fill your gaps and being responsible. That reminded me of the play where Sierra Wood got out and went 62 yards for their touchdown.
The Fighting Irish are closing in, and Bob Stoops in Oklahoma will have to start thinking about when to use the 3 timeouts now to stop this. It's a 1st and 10. We're inside of 4 minutes. Kelly keeping the ball on the ground with Riddick, wants to keep that clock moving. Jefferson makes still another stop here in the second half.
We've talked so much about this offense, or about the quarterback and the skill. You talked about him earlier. I don't think we can say enough about Zach Martin, Chris Watt, Braxton Cave, Mike Golick Jr., Christian Lombard. This offensive line on the road has done a really good job, and not just playing well, but you got a freshman quarterback back there. They've provided leadership for him, and they've opened up some running lanes and taken the heat off of the quarterback.
So if Notre Dame can make this hold up, and again we got 3:39 to go now, so Oklahoma get the ball back. But they become very much in the thick of the race, Herbie, for that national championship game now. Kansas State, you said earlier tonight, would climb to 2. Oregon, always impressive. I got an idea.
Yeah.
Let's go to that. Let's go to that format that's coming in at 2. Let's use 4 teams this year.
I think
it's going to be tough.
I'll tell you
now.
what, Kansas State's more likely going to go to 2. But I think in Oregon, just until they play better teams, I think they're going to their future's ahead of them. The team that's going to make probably the biggest jump and look impressive, most impressive, would be Notre Dame if they hold on to a win tonight.
Play action, Golson going to keep it. Wants to stay in bounds, and he does. He dives down on second down and 6, and the third down is coming up now, and another timeout is being used here.
Brian Kelly's taken some criticism about the quarterbacks and whether or not he should go with Tommy Rees, and should he go with Everett Golson, who's a freshman who's made some mistakes this year. You know, he's had 7 fumbles coming in. He's lost 4 of them. He's had 3 interceptions, and people cringe when he makes mistakes. And he's kind of said, hey guys, this is part of the process of playing with a young quarterback, and I'm going to stick with him. I believe in him. Boy, has that been on display tonight between him and his play calling and his young quarterback. I think you're starting to see what he means when he refers to Golson and being a guy.
Well, here is what Golson has accomplished tonight. 13 of 24 for 177 yards. But I think the most impressive thing, Herbie, and you've mentioned several times tonight, is there's no INT in this game. There's no fumble back there. He's run for 64 yards and a touchdown. Teo coming away with that huge interception. He's had a big night. He will remain in the thick of the conversation, not just for the Defensive Player of the Year awards, the Bednarik and the Butkus and all of those, but he's going to stay in that Heisman conversation now. Third down and 4. Well, here we go. Oklahoma with 1 timeout left, and they're going to throw for it, and Riddick can't hang on.
Well, this play call kind of goes in line with the way Brian Kelly's called this game tonight. You can make a case for, hey, run the football, make them use their last timeout, get in the middle of the field, and try a field goal. But Brian Kelly's been aggressive tonight. He's given, I think, a vote of confidence to his quarterback to believe that he can make the play. And the quarterback made a good throw there, and I don't think you need to second guess the call there, because Oklahoma saves a timeout, you take a chance.
Except for those people who say, keep the clock running. And that's it.
Yeah, they can. But the way he's called this, there is. But the way he's called the game, I think you got to go.
Here we go now. This is a huge field goal attempt for the Irish. And I believe he's got it. Huge for Notre Dame. It's a 10-point lead with 3:22. A 46-yarder for Brenza, and now Oklahoma is really backed up against the wall.
They are, and this was not just a big kick, but we talked about how he was 1 for 3 last week. He missed one early tonight, and now he backs it up here with 2 big ones tonight, and this one might seal the deal for this Notre Dame team. And Manti Te'o gets the interception, and Stoops thought he may have a shot there to miss field goal and go down and tie this game up.
So, Manti Te'o tonight, folks. 11 tackles, 1 sack, and the interception, which may have set up the dagger field goal, and he's still firing the troops up on that far side. You can take a look at him here, Herbie.
He's been all over the place this entire season, and not just tonight. Make 11 tackles. He may have had 9 or 10 of those early in this game. He brought him on a blitz. He's always tough in coverage. This time the awareness after Fox makes the play to get the ball up into the air. Just an overall leader and truly one of the best players in college football this year.
Defense can't wait to get back on the field. 3:22 to go. They do not want to allow the quick strike. Here comes Clay. 10 swings to the left. And he is short of the 20-yard line. One more look at our Vizio BCS standings. Florida has lost. Kansas State won impressively. Oregon all over Colorado. Irish on the move. LSU sitting at home just waiting for Alabama next Saturday night. Oregon State right now down by a field goal, and it looks like Oklahoma and USC will fall out of the top 10.
Florida State probably will start to inch their way back up into the top 8, maybe 9 with their one loss.
Andrew Jones through his legs, back toward the end zone. Look out now, has to throw it out of the end zone, and it is complete as he gets it into Clay's hands. Oh my goodness.
He looked like a shortstop backing that in the hole and just making a throw. He didn't even turn. I think he was probably thinking about maybe just throwing this away. This looks like it's going to be a safety or a touchdown for Notre Dame. He just fires it out there and happens to have a receiver out there that catches the ball, a running back, Clay.
And of course it was a fumble on the OU 1-yard line that led to Kansas State, helping them come in here and win earlier this year. Saunders is tackled just short of the 20-yard line. And they'll have to move against the clock. They'll check over to the side, but quickly we'll take a look at this. Ball's going to squirt free. 1 of 3 turnovers. And Kansas State came in here and won, and that started their march. And now Jones and the Sooners up against it. 3rd down and 9.
Brian Kelly is fired up on the other side about the clock not moving.
They've got to get to the 28-yard line. Now it's ticking down to 2:39. Jones high, incomplete, and over the head of Shepard. And now it is 4th and 9.
Really good coverage by Manti Te'o in the corner. Jackson, they took away the 2 easy throws to the middle and forced him to make the long throw all the way to the outside.
Four down for the Irish. Jones checks back over to the sideline. Clay is alongside him. It's good to see that Lane Johnson is back at left tackle. Remember, he went off with an injury earlier. Drop off underneath, incomplete. Notre Dame football.
How about
the
that?
Irish take over on downs in the red zone.
Tell you what a win like this does, Brent. It not only shows that they're for real. You're talking about a football team that the level of their confidence coming in was very high. They had a belief internally, but you beat a team like Oklahoma on the road, and that confidence goes to a whole different level for Brian Kelly, and it starts with the improvement of the quarterback, Everett Golson, tonight. One-on-one coverage, the ball thrown way out in front of Clay. Fox, who's played well tonight in coverage, right there to help out.
Now Golson of the Irish will hammer away. Oklahoma with only 1 timeout. They'll work on the clock. Riddick is the running back. Steps off to the left. And for the first time in the Bob Stoops career, it appears as though he will suffer 2 losses in Norman in 1 year. A remarkable run at home. Kansas State earlier. And now Notre Dame here tonight, 2 minutes and 6 seconds away and counting. The Irish a little bit shorthanded without their fastest man, George Atkinson III. They struck early in this game on a 62-yard touchdown bolt by Sierra Wood, and they have never looked back. They have played a great game on both sides of the ball. Riddick powers ahead.
The last time they beat a top 10 team, they've lost 6 straight to top 10 teams, was all the way back in 1996 against Texas. This is a landmark win, not just for Notre Dame and their efforts to get up high in the BCS, but for Brian Kelly, who's building a program and recruiting players that want to be a part of his program. This was a historical game for Coach Kelly.
Well, next week, game day, Herbie, you will be down in Baton Rouge with the gang.
Yep.
And, of course, that town will be real excited. It's Alabama LSU. LSU with a little revenge on its mind after that licking they took from the Crimson Tide back in January at the National Championship game in New Orleans. 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPNU with game day.
I know you and I want to send our thoughts and prayers to Marcus Lattimore, who had just a devastating injury today. Not just a great player, but just a very humble young man, one of the great players in college football. He'd worked so hard to come back from the ACL, and just a really tough injury. So, Marcus, we hope, thinking about you and hope it works out. But
Riddick headed for the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. The dagger. Folks, let me say this loud and clear. Notre Dame is relevant again.
Brian Kelly had just a aura about him yesterday. We saw him, you and I saw him at the walkthrough, and when I was down on the field before the game, it was almost like he knew something that the rest of us didn't know. And boy, it sure has shown tonight.
Kyle Brinza. Slips that one way to the right, but it went through. So watch now as Theo Riddick.
Just a great job up front, and they started in the second half to wear Oklahoma down. Who would have thought that before this game started? Notre Dame wearing down the Sooners' depth up front, the size that they have up front. And Brian Kelly's going to look back at his stat sheet and see 215 yards on the ground, 188 through the air. And it's tough for Bob Stoops to watch his defense and to watch how this game unfolded.
I'll tell you what's interesting about Brian Kelly, Manti Te'o, and Notre Dame. If you go back in the history of the Irish, some great coaches have made their move in their third year. Ara Parseghian, Lou Holtz, Brian Kelly. You look to year 3 of the records, and you'll see what those men accomplished in South Bend. And Kelly has done the same. He's over there with his athletic director. And Notre Dame is going to go home with by far the biggest win of the Kelly era. And this team is going to stay unbeaten. And they are very much in the...
For a while.
Maybe longer than a little while. Okay.
For a while.
They're going to be a big favorite the next 3 weeks. Okay?
Big.
136. And Clay scoops it up for the Sooners. Fine return out to the 48-yard line. I want to remind everybody, stay tuned now for the Ford wrap-up coming up right after tonight's game. A shocker here in Norman. Notre Dame comes in and doesn't just win. I mean, they took it to the Sooners on both sides of the football. Herbie, as we get some final thoughts from you here in a
you know
minute
what'll
28.
change? You know what'll change for Notre Dame these next 3 games is I feel like they've played all year with something to prove. People kept questioning them, and they wanted to go out and prove something. Well, starting tonight in their post-game press conference, for the next 3 weeks, everybody's just going to be telling them that you're going to kill this team and kill this team and kill that team. We'll see at USC. They're going to have to show some mental toughness and not listen to that, not lose their edge.
Got about 9 yards. Interestingly enough, this defense held Oklahoma to 22 yards rushing. If you go back to the first quarter of this game, it was obvious that Oklahoma had come to pass. They had come to throw the football. Now, of course, they have to. But they never, Herbie, got the running game going.
No, and I think that was by design. I mean, they came in thinking they could get Notre Dame out in space. Bob Diaco, we haven't talked enough about him. His plan was just kind of a bend but don't break mentality, and mixing in some pressures, mixing in some tighter coverage, try to keep Landry Jones and his receivers off balance. I mean, Jones still threw the football. He's over 300 yards for the 3rd straight week, but it didn't result in points. They weren't able to move the ball and do what they typically do, but they didn't even try to run the ball. They were getting whipped up front.
Their only touchdown tonight, and it was a rushing touchdown by Blake Bell. 2 other field goals. Williams is wrestled down. Ball comes out, but it's out of bounds. And it's Oklahoma football here with 30 seconds remaining. And Williams, shaken up on the play, is down.
It's a big hit.
Did you hear the pads are popping?
They sure are.
Damian shaken up on the play is down.
We talked about Lattimore, and you see the Tennessee players and along with those South Carolina players come around. And it's always nice there seeing the Notre Dame players. Nice to see that sportsmanship. Sometimes we don't see enough of it.
Yeah, Damian's a great story. Came here junior college and worked his way into the #1 running back spot. He's had a fine season for Oklahoma. And there'll be disappointment, but the Sooners can still regroup within the Big 12 and get themselves into a good bowl situation.
Oh, yeah. They got to rebound from this. This is tough when you come in with Landry Jones as a senior and you're thinking about national championships and BCS bowl games and great things, and you get a couple setbacks. It really will test the backbone of a team and the leadership of a team.
Final seconds ticking away. Landry Jones firing to Stills. Stills going for the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma. There's the combination that we expected to see all night long. And a frustrated Stills barking at the defensive back after the 34-yard touchdown. But I'm afraid, young man, it's too little too late. He's a fine-looking talent.
He's frustrated because he's been cooped up for most of the night because of the coverage that Notre Dame's played. This time he finally gets behind Jackson. He reaches for the pylon.
That's very close, isn't it, with his foot out of bounds?
Couldn't tell by that look. Yeah, it looked like he stepped out.
I'm not sure they're going to give him this touchdown. No, I think this replay may take it away from him. He'll be even more frustrated. Watch now over on that left side, left foot, and the right foot. I don't think there's any question, is there?
No. I don't know if the official might have seen him reaching the ball across, but maybe missed the foot before that ball broke the plane.
You know what that could set up? The Irish would give up 2 rushing touchdowns in one game.
It could. It could.
It'd be a 1st and goal down there. They turned this one over, as expected. I want to welcome those of you who were checking out the San Francisco Giants in the World Series. Now lead 3-0 over the Detroit Tigers. Game 4 will be in Detroit tomorrow, of course. And here, the shocker, Notre Dame pummeling Oklahoma. 30-19. Oklahoma has a touchdown right now on the field, but at least it appears from our vantage point that it might come back to about the 1-yard line. Let's see what happens here.
After further review, it was determined that the runner was down at the half-yard line. 1st and 10.
So the final 22 seconds, Stills will put his helmet back on.
Well, he is still worked up. I was watching him, Brent. He was still talking to Bennett Jackson, even from the sideline. This might be interesting if he and Bennett line up here across from one another. May want to keep an eye on this block by 4.
I think Jay Norville was probably telling him, be careful out there.
He was trying.
In this situation.
He was trying.
Yeah. Brennan Clay will be the running back.
There's Russell lined up against him.
So the final 20 seconds, Landry Jones is going to throw it back to him for the touchdown and penalty flag. Did he push it off on Russell? Because Russell was on the ground. So this must be offensive interference.
He let out some of that energy. He threw Russell down.
15-yard penalty, first down.
He just threw him down. He wanted a piece of Jackson, but instead it was Russell. Throws him down. We saw a lot of that last week in the Florida State-Miami game from Kelvin Benjamin. There you go. That's one way to get open.
So the ball will be brought back to the 15-yard line. You know, when you look at the history of Oklahoma football, no one has a better winning percentage against them than Notre Dame. This is going to make, I believe, the overall record for Oklahoma now. 1 win against 9 losses against the Irish. Landry Jones is in trouble. Sacked. Down at the 22-yard line. Shimbo on top of him. Number 55.
Shimbo finally gets home. Lewis Moore also gets in there. The entire pocket just collapsed. Kind of symbolic of the way this game went for Notre Dame and how unfortunately it went for Oklahoma and their offensive line.
So players and coaches now coming to midfield. Stoops and Kelly are good friends, wishing each other good luck. Many of the players are out there shaking hands. Notre Dame's game tonight, folks, only 1 penalty and no turnovers. You talk about a mistake-free game. Let's go down to Heather with Coach Kelly.
Thanks so much, Coach. Congratulations on the win. 8-0 for the first time in a decade. How would you describe the importance of this win?
It's just the way we play. I mean, I'm more interested in how we continue to develop as a football team. I think offensively we showed some things today that we needed to continue to mature as a football team. Our defense has played great. Our offense played much better today against a very good Oklahoma team.
You told me that every day, especially this week, you've talked to your team about the pressures and the privileges of playing as an undefeated team. What will you tell them seconds from now when you head into the locker room?
Enjoy it for 24 hours and get to work on Pittsburgh. It's just stay with the process. We're getting better each and every week, and I'm proud of the way my football team played.
At halftime today, you told me that it was really a coming-of-age night for Everett Golson. What impressed you the most about him?
Just, managing our offense, making the plays when he's needed to make them. There's still a lot of growth there for him, but communicated well. Again, just a freshman that hooked up with a freshman late in the game that gave us a big spark.
Congratulations on the win, and also Manti Te'o, a huge performance tonight. Manti, congratulations on an outstanding effort. Interception late that really was a game-saving interception. How did you see that play unfold?
I couldn't do it without Dan Fox. Dan Fox made a beautiful play on the ball, popped up, and I was just floating to the ball and just happened to be right there. And glad that I could make a play so that my team could win.
Manti, it's been an emotionally challenging season for you. How have you been fueled by the heartache that you've endured?
Heavenly Father. I mean, my faith keeps me strong. My family keeps me strong, and to know that they're still here. I may not be able to see them, but they're still here, and I draw strength from that.
You certainly have, and I've got to ask what your reaction is when you hear your name and Heisman in the same sentence.
I'm just glad we're 8-0. If the Heisman comes along the way, I'll be happy, but as long as we're still winning.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Heather, that Oklahoma defense led by Te'o and Herbie, they held Oklahoma to 15 yards rushing here tonight.
Yeah, just a great job again by Te'o, the defensive line, the overall defensive performance. But I think a lot of people from Notre Dame are going to walk away not just impressed with a 30-13 win, but the way their quarterback Everett Golson played for Brian Kelly.
A stadium record. Watch this tonight here in Norman. 86,031. Many of them unhappy because their team lost to the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 30-13. Notre Dame stays unbeaten and they're in the conversation for a spot in the BCS National Championship game. Thanks for watching ESPN on ABC. ESPN is the home of the Discover BCS National Championship game in Miami on the night of January 7th. Now, folks, we're going to take you to the studio for the Ford wrap-up with Robert Flores. Robert, a lot of things happened today. Take it away, my friend.